We're live! Yay! Hi, everyone. We're here for the Indie Plus Games in the Bar on October 18th, 2014. We're here to play Don't Rest Your Head in honor of that upcoming holiday. I forget what it's called, but it has something to do with candy. Um, I'm Brendan Conway.
I'm Andrea Gulke.
Todd Zerker.
And just as a quick thing, this event conforms to the Indie Plus community standards. If you're interested in seeing them, you can go to the Indie Plus website, which I believe is indieplus.org. And as a content warning for this, we are likely going to be fairly adult in our content, rated R. We're going to have content warnings for foul language, for violence, for horrific elements, though we will be shying away from anything like sexual violence, most likely. All right, so with that in mind, don't rest your head! Yay! So, to get this going, don't rest your head. You and the awake are these people who have not been able to sleep, and for whatever reason, and they've been awake for so long that something in them snapped, and now they see the world as it really is, which is full of nightmares and weird, horrible doorways that go places that they should not go, and streets where there were no streets before. They see the reality of everything. And as a result, they also have strange abilities that are far beyond normal mortal ken, but they're also delicious little delicacies for all the nightmares living in the mad city that the awake are now a part of. So being awake is this mess of trying to deal with your exhaustion and trying to deal with these things that are trying to hunt you and eat you, trying to survive, but also trying to eke out your life still, and desperately, desperately stay awake. Because when you fall asleep as one of the awake, you become a beacon, immediately summoning down every single nightmare in the area to come and swallow your face. It is a terrible thing, because you're delicious. So in normal Don't Rest Your Head, there are 5 questions that you use to create your character, and you then pick a couple of other things, and then you get into it. I sort of wanted to try a little tweak I did for the sake of a one-shot. I'm hoping these questions will help drive to more direct answers, I guess. The questions in base Don't Rest Your Head are great, but they're also often a little bit more open-ended and better if you play a couple of sessions instead of just one. I'm hoping these are going to be much harder hitting. The basic idea for these is, right now, that there is a nightmare, who I am calling the Recruiter. And the Recruiter has stolen something from all of you, and you are in desperate need to get it back. And so that is a fundamental thing going on right now. And so one of the questions is, what did the Recruiter just take from you, and how? The other questions are, why can't you sleep? So what over the past however long has been keeping you awake so that you can't sleep? What's on the surface, which is what do you look like? What sort of demeanor do you have? What lies beneath? Which is, what are you really underneath this facade? Why do you deserve to be punished? I wanted to ask that question because I want to make clear that all of these characters have something dark about them. They're not necessarily the greatest, and they've done something wrong. And how are you connected with the person on your left? So in this case, there are 2 of you, that's just fine, but the key is to make sure that you have a connection, and that you're not just random strangers, because I think it helps us get into it more quickly if you're actually like directly connected to each other. Now, those are the 6 questions, I can count, that are good for the character generation. I've also gone through, and there's a supplement for Don't Rest Your Head, and it is called Don't Lose Your Mind, and I absolutely love this book because it's fantastic, and it's full of 1 madness talent for each letter of the alphabet. And I think the madness talents are great. They're kooky. They're crazy. So I went through and I picked 6 of my favorites, and I wrote them up in this Google document. So I would like it if you actually pick one of these 6 madness talents as a base for your character, and then go from that. Not least because these madness talents write-ups are so complicated and full of detail that you actually, I think it gives you a good idea of like maybe who your character should be from the get-go if you just proceed from this basic notion. So quick quick thing on this. What is a madness talent? The madness talent is the superpower that you have as one of the awake. It is something that completely breaks reality. It is something you can do that is absolutely impossible. The idea of a madness talent is largely that you essentially can pull up however much power you need. Madness talents help you get enormously powerful enormously quickly within this game. You can almost overcome nearly any threat, actually, thanks to your madness talents. With the side effect, of course, that the way that Don't Rest Your Head works, if you pull down that superpowered madness talent to beat the threat, I mean, you might beat the threat, but it also means that other horrible things are going to happen right alongside it. Power at a cost is sort of the byline of Don't Rest Your Head. So these powers are specifically designed to be sort of crazy out there superpowers because of that nature of, yeah, power at a cost. You can really do enormously just crazy things, but always at some cost. So to run through the madness talents we have right now, I typed up the full write-up, and it has a lot of information in them. It has what can I do, which is a description of what you can do, followed by an actual more mechanical description. Simply put, we'll get into the mechanics a little bit later, but simply put, the way madness talents work is you choose like either what you're doing or how many dice you want to get. And so this details at the different levels what you can do. So it details what you can get from 1 to 2 dice, what you can get from 3 to 4 dice, and what you can get from 5 to 6 dice for each of these madness talents, giving you an idea of what it looks like at like low-level power, medium-level power, and when you go apeshit. There's this section, How Does It Break Me?, which represents this madness talent in some way reflecting your psyche and reflecting like when you freak out, either having a fight or a flight response, how this madness talent might like lead you to act. How Do I Change gives you an idea of how this madness talent ties to you losing your sanity. And What Am I Becoming is part of this idea that with madness talents, as you use them more and more and more, you will lose your sanity. And eventually, that's how new nightmares are made. When you lose all of your sanity, you become a new nightmare. So What Am I Becoming is describing the new nightmare that this madness talent is leading you to be. All right, so the madness talents we have are Z is for Zap, a real crackly zinger. Just scuff your feet and then point your finger. It is about shooting static electricity lightning bolts and like controlling electricity with your mind and that kind of horrible thing. L is for language, drawn down from the moon. Whatever you say will happen quite soon. That means you can speak some of the language of God. Then we have T is for Teddy, who you love more than life. To shatter the world, show him the knife. That means you have a little teddy bear, and to you when you were a kid, the teddy bear was the entire world, and now the teddy bear is the entire world in effigy. And if you rip the teddy bear, you break the world. And if you light the teddy bear on fire, you light the world on fire. And so on and so forth. K is for knife, so sharp and so nice. Just within reach and ready to slice. That means that you have at your beck and call, and sometimes when you don't call it, the knife. And the knife is never the same knife twice. It is every knife that has ever taken a human life. So sometimes it'll be like a kitchen knife, sometimes it'll be a stone knife from prehistoric days. And the knife is all about you can kill anything, including ideas. You can actually murder concepts with the knife.
When you have a knife, do you know the story of the knife?
No, it's this weird, creepy thing where it just comes to your hand. You're like you're searching for your keys that fell under the sofa, and then there's a knife in your hand, and you're like, "What the hell?" And you don't know. You don't know the story of that knife. You just know that there is now a knife in your hand, and also that's bad news because the knife knows when it's needed, so it only comes to your hand when there's danger.
A friend in need.
A is for ants crawling under your skin. See them burst out and creep back within. You have an ant colony living in your body that you can release at will by tearing yourself open. And finally, D is for dino with teeth long as knives. He'll swallow you down when he finally arrives. For your entire life, you've been terrified of this like imaginary dinosaur in your head, and you managed to put him back down when you became an adult and like ignore it But he's back now that you're awake, and he's bigger and badder than ever. And so the madness talent has to do with like other people can sense the dinosaur, and they will get freaked out and run away from you because it follows you. And then at the higher levels, the dinosaur actually shows up and eats you, and you become the dinosaur. You become a 45-foot-long T-Rex. Yeah, so, any of those scream out, begging to be played?
Honestly, D is for Dino. Just strikes a funny bone. So, the whole idea that you can be the dinosaur. Also, it kind of lends itself well to gratuitous violence.
That's awesome. I'm going to go with the ants.
Yeah, nice.
Because that's horrifying, and I like it.
All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take the others. We'll try and put those two at the top. I think you actually chose the two that were at the very bottom, right?
Pretty close.
I think so, because we're awesome like that. Yeah.
All
We
right.
are
So
awesome.
what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and select everything else. I'm going to drop it down. It's taking forever to select. So that your twos will be at the top. That's basically just what I want to make sure happens. And then if you want to start thinking about the answers to your questions, you've got my name is and I am. The and I am is a basic description of like what you are. You know, I am a cage match MMA fighter, whatever. There we go. That should work. Okay, so then you two should be at the top. I'm going to drop that down and hit paste. Right. So I'm hoping that did it right.
It's thinking about it.
Okay. So the first question, why can't you sleep, is a reference to whatever has been keeping you awake. And it can be if you want something weird and supernatural, but I think often this is a good tasty one for being a little bit less supernatural, something in your life that's been keeping you awake. The book suggests, think about what troubles you. What pressures have turned you into an insomniac? Are you running from something? Do you stay awake due to nightmares or substance abuse? Have you lost someone dear to you and the grief is robbing you of sleep? Something like that. So something that is just preventing you from sleeping. Then you've got what did the recruiter just take from you? So the recruiter, let's actually talk about the recruiter for a second. I'm sort of purposely leaving the recruiter vague because the recruiter is this unifying nightmare who's purposely messing with all of you. And so partly what I want to know when you answer this question is like what the recruiter was like, what the recruiter looked like to you, and it's good to come up with a combined idea of that. So what is the recruiter? My initial idea is I'm naming him the recruiter because I had like an army recruiter in mind. But let's just get on the same page for this.
Actually, I was thinking of a headhunter, like in corporate IT. So a nondescript man in a black business suit that always seems to know too much.
That's okay. I want to change the recruiter to the headhunter because I kind of love the idea then too, that the headhunter. I like the idea that the headhunter actually, like, that's perfect. A nondescript businessman who always knows too much, who has, like, heads tied to his belt. I think that's perfect. Is that cool with you, Andrea?
Oh, that's awesome.
All right. I think that's perfect. All right, so we have our nightmare. So that's the headhunter, and the question is, what did the headhunter just take from you? How? And what I really want to emphasize is this is something that you need to get back. Whatever was just taken from you, it's not just like, he just took, like, my pen. Fuck that guy. It's like he took something from you that really, really matters to you. Your child, or like your loved one, or maybe even some part of you, but something that is hugely important, right? Something that you need to get back. All right. The what's on your surface question is just like, what do you look like and how do you act openly? What is our initial impression of you? Don't worry about getting into too much detail about it. It's just a little bit of that, like, just want to make sure we're all on the same page with what you actually look like and, how you act openly. And what lies beneath is your chance to tell us a little bit about the internal state of your character. If there is something important that they're hiding, if there's something important underneath them that they're, like, covering up with that surface. Why do you deserve to be punished? This is your chance to think about why your character is a bad person, because they should be a bad person. What they've done, and I mean I say that facetiously, they're not necessarily like a flat-out bad person, but they've done something bad. They've done things that haunt them. And this can be tied into why can't you sleep, but it can also be something different, which is why they're two different questions, right? Like if you're haunted by that kid you killed, that could both be why you deserve to be punished and why you can't sleep. But if you just want to make them two different things, that's fine too. And how are you connected with the person on your left? We'll do that one together, or I mean, because there are only two of you. When originally I wrote this, and I was thinking, like, I'm thinking about this. I was thinking about like maybe you could do it so that you could just write it and it would just be a fact related to the person to your left. At the moment, since there are two of you, I think it's fair. So fill out the other questions, and then we'll actually answer that together after we've introduced the characters. Okay? If you have any questions, please feel free to ask away. And just for the sake of, like, this is one of those things I always struggle with in these. I love it if you talk while you're thinking about your character, just so that we don't have dead air. And also
man!
That, like, I'm sorry.
Multitask?
Too much.
Okay.
Sorry.
My name is Aaron. At least that's what my name tag says.
I apologize if this is.
Oh, no
annoying.
problem.
No, you're not sorry at all. We know better.
I'm really not sorry.
And I don't know. Why can't you sleep? Too much noise.
Too much noise. I think you're better at this than I am. I'm jealous.
Well, I'm just winging it. What did the recruiter take from you?
Or the headhunter, I guess now.
Oh, yeah. He took my resume. So my history, my name, my address.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's good. So when he took your resume, you don't mean he, like, took the physical sheet of paper. You mean he took everything on it. Oh, that's crazy. That's good. That's dark.
And how? I gave it to him.
You gave it to him?
He's a trickster. Didn't know what I was giving to him.
Wait a minute.
So, yeah, I want that back. Let's see, what's on the surface? Stressed out salaryman. I can spell. What is beneath? Oh. Say anything to get ahead.
Yeah, that's good.
What's that one supposed to be again?
What lies beneath?
Mm-hmm.
Sort of like who you really are. Reading from the book, because the book has good questions on this. What lies beneath? This speaks to the protagonist's secrets, the part of himself that he doesn't show to the world if he can help it. Think about what's the protagonist's real deal? What would be a surprising twist that plays counterpoint to what's been said about him so far? What secrets would he give his life to protect? How does he see himself? What lies does he tell himself?
Nice.
So, I mean, and that kind of works, like, if on the surface you are just a regular like salaryman, and you're just trying to get along in the world. But underneath, you're really like cutthroat and willing to do whatever it takes to succeed. That actually does work as like this differentiation. So that's exactly the type of thing we're looking for.
Okay. I deserve to be punished because my life is a lie. At least I'll discover that if I get my resume back.
Oh.
Until then, I'm fine. So maybe we'll just let him keep that.
Let's see, how connected with the person on the left? We'll wait until...
Don't worry about that right now.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, if you feel comfortable... If you feel comfortable with your answers to those questions, you can also now think about your exhaustion talent.
Mm-hmm.
So your exhaustion talent is something normal, something regular people can do that you're just really good at. So the idea is like you are one of the best in the world at doing this, but this is not supernatural. This is not a superpower. This is gambling, shooting, running, lifting weights, opening doors, whatever. But it's, again, clearly not supposed to be supernatural. This is not flying. Okay, so you can fill that in with anything you think fits the bill. And keeping it like 1 or 2 words is fine. You don't really need an enormous amount of detail on that. So how are you doing, Andrea?
I'm thinking of what the headhunter took.
Well, why were you waiting for the police?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. I was just typing. I wasn't actually thinking, because I do that.
No, but I think that's fine, though. Like, if you were waiting for the police, it implies you did something bad.
Yes. So I guess I could just cheat and do what Tad's doing and just make really vague statements.
Well, but I mean, I'm also like, what if you took
good vague statements?
Yeah, they're so good.
What occurs to me immediately, especially because the madness talent you chose, each of them sort of suggests ideas to me, and since ants is literally about the classic, like, I've got bugs living under my skin, except you literally do have bugs living under your skin, it suggests a connection to drugs to me. So if part of the reason why you were waiting for the police was you stole like a suitcase full of drugs, and then that's what the headhunter took. But then again, that's just a suggestion. You should do what makes you happy.
I was just going to write the evidence.
The evidence. The evidence of whatever you did?
Yeah. Or possibly a suitcase full of drugs. That might be evidence, too.
Stole and spread lies and hurt those around me. I think it would be helpful if you picked something specific for the evidence. I mean, I love that idea. I just think that if it was he took the gun I used to kill someone, or if he took the suitcase full of drugs, or so we know that he took this specific thing. He didn't just take. I mean, hell, like it can be a crazy supernatural thing. I think like if he took the resume and he took the entire history is fine too, but I don't know how they're. He took your innocence.
Oh, can't get that back though, honey. Okay.
In this game, maybe.
Yeah, I actually kind of like that idea too. If he took your innocence and it's literally in a jar, and until you get your innocence back, everybody's gonna think you're guilty.
Oh, that's horrible.
But it's perfect.
I like it. I will even capitalize it.
He took your innocence. Oh God, so much for innocent until proven guilty.
Sorry.
That's perfect.
Exhaustion.
Wow. It's kind of funny. All those flowed until I hit exhaustion talent. And then the brakes come on.
Here, let me pull up exhaustion talents so that I can call out creating exhaustion talents. The key to creating exhaustion talents is to think about things anyone could do, even if those things happen to be very hard to do well. Such talents should really be rooted in the mundane, so there's often a straight line connecting the sort of thing the character did before he was awake and his exhaustion talent. With an exhaustion talent, so long as a character has taken some exhaustion onto himself, his performance is consistently excellent, and at high levels of exhaustion crosses beyond simple perfection and into preternatural excellence. Sample ones include athlete, convincing, eyesight, gunfighter, intimidation.
Salesman, I could sell you anything.
Right, yeah, like that would actually work pretty perfectly. Salesman, convincing. Yeah, that would work pretty well, I think, for you.
Okay, let me scroll up here and see what's up with ants.
Trying to think of how to word mine.
What are you thinking?
So it's that person that's just always there, but somehow never seen. Like they're just plain and descriptive and always in the background.
Well, I could go hiding, stealth.
Let's do stuff.
I hear what you're saying. I like that idea of fading into a crowd. I also don't think you necessarily want to like limit yourself too much so that it's only usable when there's a crowd around.
Right.
So stealth works for both the non-crowd situations and the crowd situations. All right, great. The final thing you need to do, and this is responses. I actually put them down at the bottom. They should probably be a little higher up. So, what responses are in this game are how you respond to enormous pressure. Basically, in some situations, things will go haywire. In particular, when you use your madness talent, right? You'll experience enormous pressure and you'll snap a little bit. And you will just respond sort of animalistically, the fight or flight response. And this is where that madness talent, fight or flight section is great because it gives you a good idea of how you would respond in either case. That's a good script to follow. It doesn't have to be how you respond. You can choose a different way if you want, but it's a good baseline way to do it, especially because a lot of the time, I play with people and they'd be like, flight, well, that just means run away, right? Well, yes, but it can also mean other things. Like, flight doesn't have to just mean run screaming. It can also mean other things. And so looking at these scripts is helpful to get an idea of what fight or flight might actually mean for you. So what you get to choose is you get to choose 3 response boxes, and you split them up however you want between fight or flight. Okay, so you can have 3 and 0, you can have 2 and 1, 1 and 2, or 0 and 3. However you want between fight or flight. And keep in mind that having these 3 boxes, it's basically indicating how you respond to the enormous pressure. If you have 3 fight, then you're saying you are somebody who responds to enormous pressure by fighting, by attacking, by being aggressive. It's not worth super duper pondering. But
2 and 1.
Yeah, because in the end it's just a simple split of 3 boxes. But
Aaron's not one to back down, so 2 in fight and 1 in flight.
That works just great. Because that totally won't bite you, but that's fine. Awesome. Yeah. All right. So we are set. That's the basic stuff that we need for our characters. So why don't you introduce your character, and I'll ask a few questions about how you are, and like hopefully flesh this out a little bit, and then we can fill in the connection between you two, how you actually know each other. So why don't we start, if I go to the top of the document, we'll start with Julia Marone. Marone or Maroney?
Marone.
Okay. I've seen it pronounced Maroney, I feel like.
Because you're from the East Coast.
Yep.
All right, so tell us about Julia.
Okay, Julia is, she's a factory worker. She can't sleep because she's paranoid and waiting for the police to arrive. The headhunter took her innocence, as previously discussed. On the surface, she's very mousy. She's got like the really big, thick, big-rimmed glasses, and she's kind of plain looking. But underneath, she really likes to cause pain to other people, not just physical pain. So she deserves to be punished because she's stolen, spread lies and slanders, and generally hurt people around her.
Wow. Okay.
Hey.
So question for you. You're mousy, big-rimmed glasses, plain, but you're a factory worker. How do those connect? I'm sort of trying to envision, like, when I think of if you were lifting boxes, if you were doing any kind of hard labor.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I meant like assembly
line. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Assembly line worker. Got it. Okay, that's perfectly fine. I just want to make sure I understood. All right, so you've stolen, spread lies. So this is like you happily, gleefully messing with people. Is what that is? Like you purposely make sure people at your work hate each other is the kind of thing we're talking about?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
And of course, Julie is the sole island of rational and calm, and everything's drama around her.
Yeah.
Everybody tells Julia their secrets because she's so calm and helpful.
And mousy. She's not offensive.
No, she's not a threat at all. Let me see. How old are you?
We will say 28.
Okay. And you're waiting for the police. The paranoia has kept you awake, which is perfect, right? Because I could imagine that even if the police are really never going to actually come for you, you're just paranoid that they will, and so you can't sleep in case they do. But why are they coming for you?
She has recently taken quite a bit of money from work.
So you stole from your job?
Yes.
Probably pinning it on someone else.
Yeah, that's the thing. Did you pin it on someone else? Was this another one of your ploys?
I think so, yes, because she did it to hurt people, not to necessarily because she needed the money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, and I thought I was a soulless bastard.
So, with your permission, an idea came to me, and I'd really like to amp this up. So let me know how this sounds, right? So you took the money, you essentially planted the evidence, or whatever you do, to make sure that person seemed like the likely suspect. And so that person was being investigated, right? And your fellow worker, thinking that she was going to be like imprisoned for something she didn't do, and maybe this is somebody who already had gone through a hard time and was going to go back to jail, she killed herself.
That's awesome. I love it.
And now it's not just right. It's not just that you stole the money and you're waiting for the police to come find you because you stole the money. It's you stole the money and you actually caused theoretically somebody else's death. I'm sure it wouldn't be homicide, but it's probably like manslaughter or something. There's got to be some charge that would be applicable for you having inadvertently caused her to kill herself. Yeah,
it's amazing.
Okay. Let's give her a name. What was her name, the poor girl that you caused to kill herself? How can I talk to you?
She was a Heidi.
Heidi. Okay. Caused Heidi to kill herself. Okay, that's perfect. Yeah, I like that a lot. Now for your aunt's thing. Actually, wait. Let's go back to the headhunter thing with your innocence. How did that work for you? How did that go? Headhunter, this creepy guy in a suit, very nondescript, and I think when he travels in a sort of more normal context, he hides the heads he has hanging from his belt. But a lot of the times in the more mad context, he will let them show. So how did that work? How did he come to you? How did he take your innocence?
So I think, kind of going off of what Todd had already established with this guy, he basically took her statement and she signed her innocence away.
That's perfect.
That's probably part of his MO, is getting people to give to him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's good.
But it's probably, of course, under shady circumstances.
That's good. Okay, all right. So he came to you. He was like, "I'm actually a representative of the company, but we won't press charges if you sign this document." And then only after you signed it did you realize what had just happened.
Yeah.
The easy way for that to work is he sits at the desk and he looks, all normal and everything, reaches over to shake your hand, and then you can see the belt with the heads on it.
Heads on it, yes. And you're like, wait, what just happened?
What did you just give away?
That's perfect. Well, and so to tie this into an immediacy, right? Like, this just happened, this interaction with him. So did he come to you? Did you come to him? Was this in your home? Was this in his office?
Oh, there's got to be an office.
So you went to him.
Yeah.
And why did you go to him?
Let's see.
Guilt?
Yeah. Let's say I went to him because I am paranoid. Like I think the cops are on to me for some reason, whether it's just paranoia or if they actually are. So I was basically, I think, looking for something to cover my trail, which I thought was supposed to be him.
Innocently cut a deal?
Yeah.
Okay. So you came to him to, like, innocently cut a deal, thinking that this was the right place to go. And of course, it was all one giant trap, and I'm assuming then that probably means he took your innocence, and as soon as he took it, I mean, are you literally still, like, as we pick up the game, are you still standing in his office, or did you just get thrown out of his office and you're standing right outside as his office melts into the buildings on either side?
I like the second one.
Okay. All right, perfect. So we know what's up with you then. Haha, Julia. Haha, that's what you get for getting someone to kill herself. Hope you're happy. Okay. So final question. With the ants, is that something that is only going to just start happening to you now? Like, you're discovering that you have this ability with your ants now after your innocence has been stolen? Or is that something that you've had for a little bit now?
I think, it kind of ties in with the dinosaur thing.
Mm-hmm.
That feeling of something trying to get out, she's felt for quite a while, but she may not have actually known exactly what it was.
Got
until
it.
now.
So it's just happening now, like, just as your innocence has been stolen. Okay, great.
I can imagine that Heidi's death would kind of bring it to the surface, so to speak.
Horrible ways. All right, awesome. So tell us about Aaron.
Well, I imagine he is just totally one of those 1980s, 1990s huckster type of men who will say anything, do anything for the almighty buck and to get that corner office. But something has gone wrong. And he can't sleep. It's like every little noise that he hears in his apartment is keeping him awake, and he realizes he needs to take some of the insider information that he's acquired and get out of the company so he isn't caught with doing insider trading, but can still make a mint off the information that he has. So he needs to find his next gig. So he goes to a headhunter and gives him his resume, and then things start going off the rails. And the only thing, it's like his life after that has been something of a blur. He's walking in the streets wearing a business suit that looks like would have, if he was sleeping, been sleeping in for several days, and on his jacket pocket has a "Hello, my name is Aaron" name tag, and that's all he can remember.
Nice.
And he's not even sure where he's going. because he gave the headhunter his address.
Nice. Okay, so then my understanding is like you not sleeping is actually a combination of things. It's a combination of you under too much pressure from your job, wanting to get out, wanting to make your money, and then it sort of sounds like in some ways you actually handed over your resume a little while ago, and immediately after that you were like in a daze for a little while.
I do not know how long I have been walking the streets.
Right. So of course if you stayed awake for this entire time, then that as well could be a perfect explanation for why you can't sleep. That works perfectly. All right, awesome. So you handed over your resume to the headhunter. You made arrangements. I assume a similar thing happened. You handed over your resume, and then you noticed the heads. And
Absolutely.
You got ousted from the office. Oh, God. You will say anything to get ahead. So you just don't care who you hurt. You don't care what's up with them. You're not in it for helping people at all. You just want to get ahead yourself.
It's all about the man, and that man is me, Aaron.
Nice. That's awesome. All right. So, why do you deserve to be punished? Your life is a lie. Now, because you have this whole idea where, like, essentially you have amnesia, we can leave that vague. But do you have an idea of what that was?
What I imagine is, because I would say anything to get ahead, I would change my names. I would impersonate other people. I would blame coworkers when things went down. In some ways, Julie and I are cut from the same cloth.
I love the idea that you committed identity theft like multiple times. So that's too perfect because you completely lost your memory. So you're probably not even Aaron.
It's possible.
Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, that's good. All right. I'm trying to think. Okay. What about how does the dinosaur tie in?
At first, when I couldn't sleep, it was too much noise, and part of that noise was the footsteps. And every night they were getting closer, and it was getting to the point where I swear the goddamn thing was outside my door. So by the time I saw the headhunter, I was already frazzled and sleepless. So
nice.
He took advantage of that, or maybe that's his gateway.
Right. And now it's only come worse. I imagine, like, in your dazed haze,
I'm
you
always
still find
trying to
yourself
stay one step ahead of it.
Yeah, that's perfect. Okay. That's perfect.
Sometimes when I look behind me, it's watching.
So the crazier parts of your power, like the parts where it eats you and you become the dinosaur, you have not done those yet.
No.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah. But the long hunt is coming to a climax. It's like, how long can I keep this up?
For the rest of your life, however short that will be.
Yes.
What about your exhaustion talent salesman? Just so we're on the same page, is that you can obviously sell really well. Like you could sell if you had a thing and you wanted me to buy it, you could convince me to buy it really well. Does it extend to you're thinking all manners of like you trying to sell me on an idea, or are you trying to just make something sound good?
I'm the perfect pitch man. I will get you to buy the crappiest of stocks. I will get you to trust me, and then I will turn around and use that information against you.
Got it. So it also has as much to do with like you're likable, and you will get me to trust you. Okay, got it.
Snake oil salesman to the max.
That's perfect. Okay. Let me see. I mean, I feel like that's. I know what's going on with you. He has your resume, and you need it back. So, as an actual thing here, then, and this may be getting into the connection with Julia. If you've been wandering around in sort of a daze, which I think fits well, like we're cutting back into you as you're actually coming back to yourself with enough coherence that you can start to function and pursue your resume again. Why are you coming back to yourself now?
Because as I was walking, I looked at my reflection in a department store window, and I realized I didn't recognize who was looking back at me. And that galvanized me to say, I need to get back to where I was.
Mm-hmm. It sort of shocked you out of your wandering days.
Yeah.
And yeah,
before I was just kind of walking unfocused, always
Sure.
listening but not paying attention where I was going. So I could be anywhere.
Sure. And it could also totally be that's the moment that you fully remember signing away your resume too.
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, so then how are you two connected? Let's figure that out. Oh yeah, how old is Aaron?
I imagine he's mid-30s up and coming. He's not sure himself.
Okay.
That's also on my resume.
So without my resume, I'm timeless. I'm an immortal.
Don't feel like one.
So how do you two know each other? How are you connected?
What business are you in?
Business is my business.
Selling things.
I probably sold the company that you work for. So, yeah, that's one way we can be connected. And another way is, since she's just dumped out on the street, I could literally walk into her.
Yeah, I think that's like a perfect first scene. She was just dumped out of the street as the building melts away and you walk right into her. What I'm partly thinking about is what deeper personal connection is there so that even more than just you recognize each other, but how are you connected? How do you have an attachment to each other? Did Aaron teach Julia, or did you two sleep together once? I mean, I feel like that's totally conceivable because you're both horrible people. What actually binds you? Because I think that's great. I think if Aaron sold the company that Julia works for, that's a great way for you to have met each other. But then, what connects you?
Okay. Well, I'll just throw this out there to see if it sticks. Perhaps I also at one point was a factory assembly line worker, but the difference was I had more ambition than Julia. She wanted just to sit there and toy with the people that surrounded her. I wanted to get out of that grind.
That's good.
So my Yale and my Harvard degrees, all lies. She knows. I don't know that I forgot that. But
that's good.
She knows that I was just another factory peon at one time.
Okay. All right. I like it. That's good. Is that good with you?
Oh, that's awesome.
Andrea? Julia?
That's awesome.
All right. Yeah. So you sort of did connect, I imagine, then over you're similar people. You were in a similar place, and you. I imagine this sounds like you had drinks together and you talked about it.
We might even co-committed crimes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because mean-spirited people always flock together.
That's perfect. Yes. You co-committed crimes.
Well, just created alibis and stuff like that. Yeah.
Or messed with the fellow factory workers of Julia. Yeah.
Oh yeah. See, it was all fun and games, but I wanted more. So.
That's perfect. All right. I like it. So let's get going then. Let's get into it. I'm gonna, on the mechanical side, I think for the time being, refrain from getting into too much detail about how the dice work until we need them. The key place we need the dice is going to be when a conflict arises. A conflict being you want something and either the environment is resisting or somebody else is actively resisting. So, you are stumbling out of the building, having just been thrown out by the suited servants of the headhunter, and the building is melting into the buildings around it, just like from the Harry Potter stories where the buildings just seem to close somehow without moving. It's weird, and you're standing there just watching agape. I think the sun is setting on the street as you're standing here, and there are still people out on the street. Most of them are just ignoring you. When one of them bumps right into you, Julia, hard, and when you flip your head around, it's Aaron, looking rather ragged himself. Two of you look a pair with your really tired eyes.
It's a nice suit.
Well, it
$6,000.
Before it got rumpled.
Yes.
Aaron?
Yes, that is me.
Hi.
She's like looking from him to the building, back to him. What happened to you?
Just rub my eyes, and it's like, I'm not sure. Who are you?
Julia?
Just another mark. It says, "Hi, Julia. I am Aaron." It says, "I seem to have lost my way. I was wondering if you could point me in the right direction."
Okay, today's been a really, really weird day. So, what?
No, I'm looking for something. What did I lose? My resume. I lost my resume. I lost my mind. Have you seen it?
Not recently.
I was talking to the headhunter, and
That guy. As she points to the collapsing building.
Yeah, which is gone now.
it's like it's a wall. Okay,
It wasn't always a wall.
that seems familiar too.
So it was the same guy.
Maybe. Anyway, it's good meeting you, Julia. I must be going, and I look around trying to figure out where I'm supposed to be going.
So as you look around, that's when you actually start to notice the street has been clearing out. There were people on the sidewalks, but even during your short little conversation, the street has become surprisingly empty and devoid of people, and that's when you hear sirens approaching.
We should go. Away. Quickly.
Sure. One direction's as good as any other.
Where are you going?
The sirens, away from the sirens.
Okay, so you start moving down the street and away from the sirens when you start hearing them coming down on the other end of the street as well.
Gosh, is there like an alley or building that's open we could cut through?
Yeah, you duck into an alley on the side of one of these buildings, and you start moving down amidst the dumpsters and the bags of trash.
Hey! These shoes are Italian.
I know that much.
That wasn't on the resume.
That was exactly.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, you race down the alley. What are you looking for?
Is this a connecting alley or a dead end? Because that makes a difference. Because I want to escape the sirens.
Sure. I think it's a connecting alley. I think there are like a couple of other alleys that'll come off of it. So let's just say you race down this alley and it's like a T intersection. You can go left or you can go right. Looking
Left.
down, yeah, going left will take you behind like the buildings where the headhunter's building was. It'll take you behind them and down that way.
Okay.
All right, so you start running down to the left, and as you're going, you get to another intersection in the alley, and then you hear a door open behind you. And when you turn your head back, it's like the door wasn't there a moment ago. And there's somebody poking his head out. He's only got one eye, and he's got a cigar in his mouth. And he looks at the two of you, and he says, "You on the run? Come in here."
I look at Julia. Are we on the run?
Yeah. Yes. I grab him by the kind of sleeve of his rumpled jacket and kind of push him in ahead of me.
Sure. So yeah, the guy holding the door open, he's got big, like, meaty arms, and he's wearing a black tank top, and he holds the door open as you push in past him, and then he pulls it closed behind you. The place you've just entered is a smoky, seedy, dirty bar, and he starts pushing you forward. He puts one hand on each of your backs, and he starts pushing you forward into the bar. The bar has a few people in it. All of them look really, like, broken and ruined as people. All of them are nursing a drink and taking sips of it slowly, and all of them are sitting alone. Nobody is drinking together.
Well, that actually sounds rather inviting.
Hey, anybody on the run from the coppers? You know, you got a place here. Why don't you seat yourself at the bar? I'll get you a drink.
Thanks.
Cops don't come in here. You'll be fine.
Well, I feel I should know you from somewhere.
Nah, everybody thinks that, but we never met before. Here you go. So are you two actually sitting at the bar?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, so he gets out 2 shot glasses and he starts pouring a drink for you. And as it comes out, like, the drink in the bottle looks correct, but as it fills your shot glasses, it turns this completely opaque black color. There you go.
That's a neat trick.
What can I say? I pours well.
Thank you.
Take the shot glass. Here's mud in your eye.
And you take it?
And we'll give that just a little taster sip. Taking some of the aroma.
Yeah, now take it. Are you actually sipping or are you just sniffing?
Oh, well, you got to taste, of course.
Oh, totally. Okay. So yeah, you take just a slight sip of the liquid in the shot glasses. He actually just takes a swig from the bottle, straight from the bottle. Hygiene, not his thing. And as soon as the liquid passes through your lips, you are getting. I mean, you only drank a tiny sip, so it's like a faint thing or flitting in your mind. It's not really too strong, this impression. Or rather, it's not too concrete, I should say. But the impression, it flips there. It's like suddenly in your mind of, like, this sensation or this memory of being in bed with a woman and, like, tangled together in the sheets, you know, around you, and sweat and sex, and it's just there and it's gone.
Well, we drink the whole damn thing then. If we can restore my memories, sure.
Well, okay, so you drink the whole damn thing, like, so yeah, and this is perfect, Julia. You see this moment, like, he just sniffs it and takes a little sip. His eyes go wide, and then he downs the whole thing. That's perfect. You down the whole thing, and it's like you get this whole memory suddenly surging back in your head, and it's not your memory. Like, as you get more of it, it is clear to you this is not you. You are actually remembering things from the perspective of a person whose body is not yours, right? You know your body well enough to know that this is not your body. But it's a very nice, pleasant memory, and immediately after downing it, right, you feel that sort of contentedness and that warmth washing through your body, and, like, you know, it's calming and pleasant and feels pretty good.
Whew! That is something.
Packs a kick, don't it?
Yeah, it's like, I'm ready to take a shower.
You gonna try any, girl?
Yeah. Probably quite similar, because I'm not entirely sure what this is. That's inky black and creepy looking in my shot glass.
Yeah.
So sip first.
So you sip it first, and Yeah. I think that, I mean, actually, I think it's probably the same idea. It's the same impression. And perhaps even more disconcertingly for you, while it is a very pleasant, like, it's still very pleasant. It's enjoyable. Like, you come out of it and it feels good. Whatever little sip you had, there is that warmth. But the memory you're experiencing, that this, like, image, you're clearly the man. Like, you are clearly experiencing it as the man.
Oh, fantastic.
I mean, Aaron wouldn't have cared, right? Because it would be... But for you, it's maybe just a slight bit disconcerting. But it still feels really good.
I could see her eyes opening wide. She's going, yeah, it's good, isn't it?
It's something.
Yeah, the bartender's like, yep, this guy was a real find. He's holding the bottle in front of him. Really glad I got to know him.
I can imagine it's a name, not quite
Oh, yeah.
Johnny Walker, but
Yeah, exactly. There's a name on the bottle. Like, that's the thing, is he's holding out the bottle and he's looking at it and, like, smacking his lips. You can read the name on the bottle, and it says, like, John Watson.
Thank you. Again, I don't quite know what to say.
You should take more. It's good shit.
it
Yeah,
can get a little confusing. It's just like, because the next thing you know, I'm going to start calling myself John.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Just start calling yourself John. Well, I mean, if you want more, I can give you more. It'll get rid of any more confusion you got in your mind. It's what drink is good for.
I think I'll just sip this one.
I mean, suit yourself. This is good shit. He takes another swig from the bottle.
Right. So, Julia, I get the impression that you know more of me than I know about you. So, where have we met before?
Theodore Factory, ring a bell?
Nope.
Really?
This is about the time, if this was fate, you would be given a compel to either lie or steal.
Yeah, right, yes. He is yours to play with.
Are you serious? You really don't have any idea who I am?
I'm sorry. I've just been walking around for a while. I seem to have misplaced my resume.
Wait a minute, says the bartender. And he like actually puts the cap on the bottle and he puts it back on the shelf. And then he points a meaty finger in your face, Aaron. You saying you don't got nothing rattling up in your noggin there?
Oh dear God.
Pretty hollow.
How you planning on setting up your tab there, buddy?
Well, I pull out, empty by now, but a very nice leather wallet. Says, well, the wallet itself is worth about 150.
What, cow skin? Fuck that noise. You see any cow skin in these here bottles? You think that's what I'm serving to my clients? Cow skin don't do shit for me, buddy. You got no memories. You got nothing to pay with. I'm going to have to figure out some other way for you to compensate me.
Well, I'm a very good salesman. Take a break. I'll man the bar for you.
All right, that's an interesting choice. I could maybe see my way to that. Yeah. You man the bar, and I get to go. Yeah, we can do that. Why don't you come on here behind the bar?
God, I am such a sucker. Sure, yes, it's got to pay your debt, right?
Yeah, totally.
That's
So you come behind the bar, and he actually bends down to like look at your feet, and you hear him fish under the bar for a second, and then his hand comes out and he's holding like the end of a handcuff restraint,
a
his hand
manacle?
on it. Yeah, manacle. There you go. Sorry. Yes, he's holding a manacle, and he's like moving it forward to wrap it around your ankle.
Whoa, 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 whoa. This is normally you don't chain the customers or the employees to the counter, right?
Where the fuck you been living? You said you'd work the bar. You work the bar. And now he's like going to close it around your ankle.
Sure. This is just too weird.
You let him close it around your ankle?
Yeah.
That's perfect. Yes.
Pick up a bar towel. Start cleaning a glass. Say, look over at Julia. How can I help you, ma'am?
So as that happens, the guy stands up, and you actually hear a little clink, and a manacle falls off from his own ankle.
Okay.
Well, I'll be going now.
See, I sold my soul away and without even a signature.
He dashes for the door of the bar, the front door.
I guess he had some business to take care of.
I don't think that was a very good idea.
Reaches underneath the bar, pulls out. Oh, hey, we got a lovely vintage here. It says Laura Watkins might be related to John. The bottles were side by side. I think this might be more to your liking. And I try to sell her on it.
Enjoy this. Yeah, that's good. I mean, as long as you're just gonna take a drink, that's fine.
First sip is on the house.
Okay. Do you even realize what just happened here? You used to be a lot smarter than this.
Says, I didn't have to pay for my drink.
He just changed you to the bar and then ran.
I guess he had to get to the bank before it closed.
Oh my god.
So what would be a little Laura?
No. I don't like the idea of buying memories with my... I don't understand it.
Says, screw up the top of the bottle, give it a sniff. Says, you would not believe the sensation that this can give you.
You're not worried about being chained to the bar at all.
What's the worst that can happen?
If you're actually interested in trying to sell her on it and she's going to resist, I think that can be a conflict.
Yeah, let's throw it out. Let's throw some dice mechanics down and see if we can dig a deeper hole.
So I'm going to sort of borrow from a one-shot, which is when you conflict with another player, then I'm going to throw in... I normally have to always throw in some amount of dice. When you conflict with another player, basically, you both are throwing in dice, and I throw in at least a number of dice equal to the number of players, and perhaps more if it's more appropriate, if there's more like things that are throwing problems into the mix for whatever reason. So, talking about it mechanically, here's how the game works. You have 3 discipline. You always roll 3 discipline. each die that you roll is always a single 6-sided die. So you would roll 3 6-sided dice at the very least as awake. 3 is basically that represents that you are the height of human capacity. Normal humans would roll 1 or 2 dice. Essentially, you roll 3 because you're operating at top notch, despite the fact that you are absolutely crazy and exhausted because of your staying awake all the time. Then you get to roll in. Or sorry, you have to always roll in your exhaustion. The same way that you have to always roll your discipline, you have to always roll your exhaustion. Your exhaustion starts at 0. However, on any roll, you can choose to increase your exhaustion by 1. And then it stays that level. So you will then always have to roll 1 die for exhaustion. You can increase your exhaustion to 2 once you have it at 1. And then you will always roll 2 dice. So as your exhaustion goes up, the good news is you're going to be rolling more dice, which is actually always a good thing. The bad news is they're exhaustion dice, which means there's a chance that they will increase themselves without your consent. If your exhaustion ever goes past a 6, if it is ever 6 and it would go 1 higher, I'm making sure about that. Yes, if exhaustion is increased above 6, that's when you crash. That's when you fall asleep. And that is catastrophe. Functionally, falling asleep is probably death. Because it calls, like when somebody who's awake falls asleep, it calls every nightmare to them. They become a giant shimmering beacon. Mm-hmm. Madness. You can always choose to pull in between 0 and 6 madness dice on any roll you make. So it does not stay up, right? So on this roll you could bring in 6 madness dice. On the next roll you could bring in 0. On the next roll you could bring in 3. You can always vary it however you want. To bring in madness dice, you have to use your madness power. So, like, you have to somehow be incorporating that into what you're doing. Okay? And madness dice, similarly, more dice is always better. The more dice you roll, the more likely you are to succeed. However, the more dice you roll, the more likely that thing is to cause problems, to dominate. So when you roll, you're looking for 1s, 2s, and 3s. A 1, 2, or 3 is a success. A 4, 5, or 6 is a miss. Whoever has the most successes gets what they want out of the conflict, and that's pretty much fundamentally the simple like success, victory, fail version. Is you just count up your degree, which is the number of successes you have, and whoever has the higher degree is the one who gets what they wanted. However, after we figure out who gets what they wanted, we figure out what dominated. So the dominant pool is whichever pool has the highest number. So if you roll discipline and you get a 6, a 5, and a 1, and I roll pain and I get a 1, 2, and 3, my 1, 2, and 3 means 3 successes, 3 degree, so I would actually succeed. Your 6, 5, and 1 means you only had 1 success. So I succeed. Mine is victorious, right? But your 6, 5, 1 means that your 6 and 5 is higher than my 3, 2, 1. So discipline would dominate. Whatever pool dominates flavors what happens. So if discipline dominates, it means you kept control. It means things are orderly, things are controlled. Nothing gets worse. And discipline dominating is good for you. When exhaustion dominates, you get tired. Like it drains you somehow. And exhaustion goes up by 1. When madness dominates, things go crazy. Something snaps. That's when you have to check off one of those fight or flight boxes and react accordingly. You have to actually act on that fight or flight response. When pain dominates, pain is what the GM rolls. The GM only ever rolls pain. Pain dominates, causes, like, it hurts. It causes there to be a cost. And the mechanical effect is pain dominating means I get 1 coin of despair. Despair is a resource I can spend to mess with you, and when I spend despair, it actually turns into hope. So I can spend 1 coin of despair to add or remove a 6 from any pool in play. What that means is I can essentially, by adding a 6, I can help make sure particular things dominate. I can add a 6 to your exhaustion pool. That won't help you succeed, because you need a 3, 2, or a 1 to succeed, but it will help make exhaustion dominate, and I can potentially try and force your exhaustion to tick up as a result. When you get a coin of hope, every time I spend a coin of despair, it turns into hope. When you get a coin of hope, you can spend it to remove 1 exhaustion, or to remove a check mark from fight or flight, or to add a 1 to your discipline pool. So you can essentially get a free success by spending a coin of hope. But in order to get hope, I have to get despair and then spend it on you to mess with you first. So, let's see. Is there anything else? Oh, yeah, and the only other thing you need to know is exhaustion talents. The way exhaustion talents work is if you use your exhaustion talent in a minor use, then basically what that means is you're just using your exhaustion talent. It's not a huge deal, but this is what you're really good at. And it means you cannot have fewer total successes than your exhaustion score. So if your exhaustion score is 0, a minor use of your exhaustion talent is worthless. But if your exhaustion is 4, using your exhaustion talent in a minor use means no matter what you roll, you don't score fewer than 4 successes. Doing a major use of your exhaustion talent increases your exhaustion by 1, and you will roll that 1 extra die on your roll, but you add a number of successes equal to your exhaustion score. So that would mean that if you increased your exhaustion from 3 to 4, and you did a major use of your exhaustion talent, then you would get to add 4 successes to whatever you rolled. Okay? So, in this case, I'm actually going to go ahead and roll 4 pain. I'm going to roll 2, and I'm going to add 2 because you are manacled to the bar, and the bar can influence your actions in some way.
At least my mobility.
Now, it looks like in this Don't Lose Your Game format, I'm going to put together the roll, and then I'm going to hit roll dice all at once, it looks like. Or maybe you should put together the roll. All right, so either way, I'm going to put together a roll. It's going to have 4 dice, 4 pain. You would be rolling, Todd, 3 discipline. Do you want to increase your exhaustion or not?
No, but I wouldn't mind throwing down a little madness because the situation's kind of spiraling out of control.
Sure. So when you use your madness, how are you using your madness ability?
The sound of footsteps can be heard outside the bar. There's the tinkle of glasses behind the bar itself. The drink that is in front of Julia has the telltale ripples of something big and heavy is coming closer.
And you're hoping that the like fear it strikes in her will get her to take the drink for comfort?
Absolutely.
That's messed up. So that sounds like 2 madness, basically. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you're going to roll 3 discipline and 2 madness, no exhaustion.
Okay.
And then what are you rolling, Andrea?
I think I'm just rolling my discipline because it's more of a no, I don't want to drink. We need to talk about this.
Great. Okay, cool.
Absolutely not drinking.
All right. So the way I'm going to do this then is I'm going to hit the roll button right now, and it's going to hopefully do the 3 discipline and the 2 madness and the 4 pain, and then I'm just going to do a second roll after that with just 3 discipline for Andrea. So I hit roll dice. Can you guys see that?
I see the roll dice button, but if you rolled something, it didn't come up.
Try refreshing, just out of curiosity, to see if that helps.
Hey, look at that.
Okay,
Claire
great.
has won with a degree of 5 with pain dominant.
Yes. So if you see it at the roll, it looks like discipline came up with a 3-2-1. That's 3 successes. Madness came up with a 3-2. That's 2 more successes. So you have 5 successes right now. Pain came up with a 6-3-2-2, which means right now Pain has 3 successes and 6, so the 6 is dominating. And then I'm going to go ahead and roll again with no Pain and no Madness. And I'll just roll the 3 discipline. And you got a 6-5-2. So, Andrea, your roll only has a degree of 1. So you only got 1 success, but you did get a 6 and a 5, which means that your 6 and a 5 dominates. My Pain, which only had a 6, and the next highest number was a 3, does not dominate versus a 6-5. So in this case, then, what that means is Aaron is going to get what he wants, which I apologize. We should have established right out of the gate what that means.
Oh yeah.
So Aaron was going to get what he wants. Aaron wants Julia to drink. Julia wants Aaron to stop being weird and stop making her drink. This was my understanding. And the bar wants Andrea to drink and wants the bar wants Julia to drink, and the bar wants Aaron to force Julia to pay up as well. So in this case, Aaron's going to get what he wants, but discipline dominates.
All right.
Okay. So when discipline dominates, things stay under control. You have the option to remove a response checkmark or decrease your exhaustion by 1.
I think we're all good there.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll say anything. Hey, take the drink and we'll leave. What's more
Fine.
reasonable?
Fine. One drink, though.
Just one. Just one little drink.
So you down the drink.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is Laura, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. So you down the drink. And it's actually a wonderful, beautiful memory that fills you with like very pleasant happiness. It's you're basically remembering yourself in a hospital bed, exhausted and tired, but holding your newborn infant for the first time. And it's this joyful memory, like you feel such a pleasantness throughout you. And when you come back to yourself out of this memory, you know, it's radiating through your body, this general sense of well-being and warmth and goodness.
Huh? What did I say?
Okay. That was good.
Don't you want more?
There. Drank the drink. Drank
Yeah.
the drink. Clearly had too many.
One is too many here.
Can we go now?
Sure. And reach down and take the manacle off. Ha ha.
Yeah, like hell does it come off.
I didn't see him put a lock on it.
Are you kidding me?
Tug at the chain a little bit. I say,
Yep.
Says, this is made of sterner stuff than I thought. Look around for a crowbar or something like that.
Sure. I'm trying to think of what there would be in the bar that would be the equivalent of that.
Nothing.
Yeah, probably not. So, and here's the thing, too. I mean, Julia, what are you doing while he's looking for a crowbar?
Face palming.
Okay. All right, that's fair.
And then as he's obviously searching, I'll see if I can't spot something.
Looking for something to help him get loose.
Yeah.
So he's looking around behind the bar, and then you start looking around on the other side of the bar, and that's when you start noticing that every one of these people who's like sitting at their own little table and drinking sadly and slowly to themselves, all of them are chained to their tables.
Okay.
Important details.
We need to hurry up and find some way to get you out of here.
Sure. Maybe this broom handle. I can twist it around the chain a little bit there and see if we can break a link.
The broom handle snaps.
Maybe not. Wow, this is tough. Look around.
So, Aaron, you hear this like booming voice in your head. No one else hears it. And it says, "You have a job to do. Make her pay her tab."
Is it in my head or her head?
In your head.
In my head. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, sure. Wait a minute. When I said the first drink was free, was that actually true? Huh.
You're the bartender, not the bar owner.
Just hold on a sec. Did you hear that? The large booming voice that says it's time for you to pay your tab.
No, I didn't. Distracted by the weird banging coming from outside.
Yes, the weird thumping noise, yes. Oh, that's good. And I mean, Aaron, you dip your hands under to look for something again to.
Well, maybe a shotgun. That'd be nice and sturdy.
Yeah. So you're looking for like a shotgun or something to break the chain, and without realizing it, like you pull your hands back up and you've gripped something, and you look down at them and you see this weird-looking IV with a needle in the end.
Whoa! We'll toss that down onto the bar like a snake.
So you try to toss it down, and your hands won't let go.
Okay.
So if you really want to fight this thing's pushing your body and trying to force you to make Julia pay her tab, you can do that. But I mean, otherwise, like this is right now the bar, the manacle around your ankle is forcing you to start moving around the bar. The chain lengthening as you go, so that you can move around the bar and attach this to her.
Hey, Julia, I think the bar wants to suck your brain or something like that. Do you have any memories you're not attached to? I'm not attached to any of mine.
What are you doing?
I don't know. As I move closer with the needle.
I mean, if you're just going to go along with it, that's fine, and your body will just go ahead and try and stab her with the needle.
Give me a wrist.
No.
This won't hurt at all. You won't remember a thing. I'm smiling.
No, I'm definitely not going to let him stab me.
Wow. This is... Okay, great. This is great.
Sorry, did you have something you wanted to do, Brendan, that was actually not
Plot
No, this is good. So actually, though, here's the thing at this point, right? You are obeying the bar.
Yes.
So I'm actually turning this into it's about pain, right? The bar is acting through you. You are not acting at this point. Does that make sense?
Sure.
So like this is about Julia fighting pain. Basically, this is. So I'm gonna go ahead and give the bar acting through you because it's got a nice strong actor now. If you're giving into it, I'm gonna give the bar 6 pain. And what are you doing, Julia?
I think. Oh, I was going to say I don't think I want to hurt him, but then I remembered who I was playing, and I'm actually okay.
Terrible person.
Yeah, true. So I'm not exactly like I don't think Julia is completely cognizant of the whole ant situation yet. So I think her first instinct would be to try to hit him with one of the bar stools.
Sure. You can discover the ant situation at this moment.
Oh, I can.
I mean, like if you just add in madness dice, we can easily narrate that in, right? He's coming at you with a needle. Even if he doesn't successfully plant it in you and it tears open your skin, ants come pouring out.
Or if it just makes your skin crawl.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for that.
That was good.
Boo. Yeah, so I honestly think her first instinct would be to grab a bar stool and try to use it to hit him.
Great. So what you're trying to accomplish is to keep him away from you, keep yourself safe, keep yourself not stabbed with the needle.
Yes, please.
Okay. And so the bar, obviously what's opposing this now is like the sentience of the bar, or whatever is living here. So you're rolling 3 discipline. Did you want to use any exhaustion? Did you want to increase your exhaustion? All right. So you can only increase your exhaustion one at a time. So your exhaustion now, and actually go ahead and I apologize, I should have left a thing for it. Go ahead and make a note. Your exhaustion is now 1, right? It stays at 1 until you can spend hope to decrease it. So now every time you roll, you will roll 1 exhaustion.
Okay.
Which is not a bad thing. It means you're going to get more competent, but it means that it might spiral out of control. And are you using any madness?
I would like to use a lot of madness.
How much?
Hold on. So this is where those 1 to 2 dice, 3 to 4 dice.
Exactly.
Let's do 2.
2 dice. Great.
So 6 versus 6.
Here we go. I'm going to go ahead and hit the roll dice. Beep. All right, so it just rolled. If you refresh, it should show up. It says player 1 with degree of 3 with pain dominant. And if you look in this case, actually, you can see that we tied. I had 3 successes. You had 3 successes. You win on ties.
Okay.
And actually, I'm going to quickly do this. Don't mind this thing. I should only have 1 to spare at this moment, so I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of that. Yeah, okay. So I should have 1 to spare now, which is great. And yeah, pain dominates. So as a thing for the future, I'm perfectly fine narrating the outcome of results. One of the things it talks about in the book is you can also do it as whoever's pool dominates gets to narrate the results. I think that's fine as well. I think that's great. So whichever way you want to do, like if you want to narrate it when your pool dominates, that's great. If you don't, I'm perfectly happy to do it. In this case, since pain dominated, I will narrate. So you lunge at her with the needle at the end of the IV, and it like sticks in her skin, and it just tears like her flesh. And I mean, Julia, ants just come pouring out.
Heck yeah.
And they crawl all up the needle and your hand, Aaron, and they start like biting you and crawling all over you and freaking you out, and you're like trying to brush them off your arm as they continue to drip out of the rent in your arm, Julia, as you back away. So the good news is like Aaron, at least for the moment, he's kept away, and the bugs biting him is actually snapping him out of whatever the bar was trying to make him do. And so you're backing away towards the front of the door. But then as that happens, every one of the other patrons of the bar, with their manacles around their wrists, they all start standing up from their chairs, and they all start moving towards you, the chains again lengthening as they come.
Oh my god.
Aaron, what are you doing?
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, well, that was cool. That was cool, she says, as bugs are dripping out of her torn up arm. What are you doing, Aaron? You've got bugs biting you.
I will grab the nearest bottle and I'll pour it on my arms to cause the bugs to either wash off or get liquored up or whatever.
I'm gonna give the bugs memories of sex. Oh, this is weird.
They will be very confused.
Yeah. So the objective is just for you to try and get the bugs off of you, right?
Sure, at the moment.
I feel like that's fine. We don't have to roll for that, right? You just start dousing your arms in the black liquor, and the bugs are washed off, or some of them die. Because I mean, for all that this is weird memory liquor, it also seems to have a high alcoholic content. So it is like messing with the bugs and getting them off of you. However, the more you pour, the more the manacle around your ankle starts to tighten and grow hotter, and it starts to sear against your skin.
Okay, that is not acceptable. Good time to set the bottle down. It says ants, I'm saying to myself.
And when you look up, there's Julia. She's still backing away, and everybody else in the bar is converging around her.
So I've kind of snapped out of it from the ants.
Well, for the moment, but the thing around your ankle is still there, and it's tightening, and it's still hot, for all that it's not burning you as much now that you've stopped dousing the ants in alcohol and wasting alcohol. It still doesn't feel good. And there's still this like pressure in your mind wanting you to bring that needle right over to her and collect.
Wow. Huh.
I mean, Julia, what are you doing as they're closing in?
Oh God. Well, I think I want to fight. I guess I'll see what happens if I tear a bigger hole in my arm.
Yay! This is a victory. All right, great. So what exactly are you hoping to get out of this? What exactly do you want to do?
Um, I think I need them to back off.
Okay. So
And
go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say I think I need to back them.
Yeah.
I think I need to start drinking. Oh my God, get them to back off. So I can get out the door and away.
That's okay. That's what I wanted to know. Okay, that's great.
Yes.
So basically, you're clearing a path to the door.
Yeah.
That's perfect. All right, brilliant. I think I'm trying to think of how many pain they would have because these people, like, he was strong. Aaron is one of the awake that they were essentially manipulating to do their bidding, so he was a little bit nasty. This is a whole bar full of people, but none of them are awake. So I'm actually going to use 5 pain for the whole bar full of people, but not any of them superpowered, not any of them especially dangerous. So how much exhaustion do you want to add, if any? You're up to 1 exhaustion, so you can go up 1 more exhaustion if you want.
Let's go up 1 more.
All right, so now your exhaustion is 2, and again that means you're going to be rolling 2 exhaustion on every roll from now on.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not necessarily a bad thing. And how much madness did you want to use?
Let's crank it up to 4.
Yay! All right, here we go. Rolling 5 pain, 3 discipline, 2 exhaustion, 4 madness. Player 1 with a degree of 5 with pain dominant. That means I get another despair. Let me just see these rolls. Oh, madness! Madness got a 5/5. You're kidding me, right? All right, fine. Yes, I'm gonna use one of my remove 2 coins. I should only. This is weird. All right. Well, I'm gonna do that. Cast a shadow, and I'm gonna go ahead and remove 1 coin from hope. So you have 1 hope now, because I'm going to spend the 1 point of despair I had, and that will let me add a 6 to your madness. So if you look at the numbers, that means you have a 6/5/5 in madness, and that means that madness dominates. So when madness dominates, you have to check off one of your response boxes, either fight or flight.
Okay.
And you can describe what happens, or I can describe what happens, but remember to really, like, you are responding with fight or flight. You have to go crazy with that. This is, something is snapping. This is, things are getting crazy, things are getting, mayhem is increasing, like that entire shebang.
I'm going to let you describe it.
Okay.
You seem so happy.
Things get more chaotic. Yes, that's perfect. Things get more chaotic. Okay, what response box are you checking off?
Fight.
Okay, and so I am going to ask you to, like, fill in exactly what that looks like after I go through what happens, right? Because you have to actually act on your fight, right? Like, you have to take further action to represent that. So that might mean, it's not a good idea to just stick around and fight, but that's exactly what you're doing, or whatever. So, I mean, how did you gash open your arms to get more ants out?
There was a... Oh my God, what do you call it? Like the cutter thing that you use to cut the corks open?
I think I know what you're talking about. I don't know what it is, but I think I know what you're talking about, yeah.
Yeah, one of those things.
And you just
laying on the bar.
Bartender's knife.
That's great.
Thank you.
They have that weird little tip on the end.
That's so messed up. You just take the bartender's knife and you jab it into your arms. Oh, God.
I could just imagine this wave of ants flowing out.
Yeah, it's like...
I mean, like more than your body mass worth.
Pouring out of your arms, like dripping like blood, spilling forth, crawling across the floor. And the guys coming up to you, the patrons of the bar, the ants just swarm up their clothes, crawl under their pants, start biting them. They all start shrieking and clawing at themselves, tearing at their clothes. And as they do, you start noticing something horrible too. They rip up their clothes to try and get at the ants, and what you see as they do that is you see the IVs. You see them underneath their clothes, the needles like embedded in their necks, the bags tied to their torsos or their arms and filling with the black liquid. Um, and I mean,
they drank that stuff.
You drank that stuff. Yep. And I mean, the ants, they're all screaming, and so you have a path. You can run for the door, but as they're not like the path is more because they're not paying attention to you than it is because they are like pushed to the side. They're still flailing and jumping around now. And so as you move towards the door, one of them clocks you with his wild, frantic swings, and like it hits you in the head, and you spin and go down, blood streaming down one side of your face, and like you climb up to your feet, and another one inadvertently kicks you, and so like you can scrabble to the door, but they're all just flailing around madly, and you're getting pummeled by these wild limbs, and the pain is pretty bad as you're getting bruised and messed up. So you checked your fight response. What does that look like?
So she's still got the knife, which she's probably swinging to varying degrees of success because she's not a knife fighter.
Sure.
But she's getting more and more pissed off.
Yeah.
So she's going to take a hold of that bottle of Laura Walter or whatever it was, and smashes it on the bar and grabs the still burning cigar from that guy that took off that he had left there.
Yeah.
She's going to burn this place down if I can.
Yes. Okay, that's good.
Sorry, I could not find my bartender's knife. Otherwise, I would have waved that around.
That's perfect. So you just smash the bottle, the alcohol goes splashing everywhere, and then you put the cigar in it, and it starts alight immediately. The fire, and of course the fire is on the bar, so it's only a matter of time before it's going to extend towards other of these bottles, which are still highly alcoholic. As the liquor burns, you can hear screams coming out of the liquor, like the screams of the people whose memories it is that you're burning. So Aaron, like, what are you doing now?
We're tugging on that chain, and the chain's not letting go, and the fire is getting closer, and we're getting more and more desperate. So we need to get out. And when I say we, I don't mean Julia and me. I mean Aaron and the dinosaur.
Of course.
So we start pulling at it and getting more panicked and stronger. And yeah, if I have to, I'll bite through this thing. And so I'm going to throw down discipline, increase exhaustion, and I don't really want to be burned alive. 5
madness.
Hey, 5.
So, and it's because I say that because if we're going off of the power as described for your dino, reading through it, 1 to 2 madness. 1 to 2 madness freaks people out. 3 to 4 madness terrifies people. 5 to 6 madness is the part where you become the dinosaur and you can just chomp through the chains.
Right.
So I mean, you tell me what you want it to do.
I want to tap my inner dinosaur and either rip the chain out or bite the chain in half.
Great. So that's 5 madness.
Yes.
Oh, that's good. All right, so I am going to increase the pain I was rolling because this is you trying to get free of the bar, which is not a weak nightmare to have captured this many people. And yeah, it's also on fire.
Yes, it is.
So I'm going to go ahead and do 8 pain. If that's, and I mean, if you wanted to change your madness up 1, you could, but otherwise,
we're good. 5 and 6 is the same, so let's go full tilt bonkers here.
Yay, full tilt bonkers! All right, I'm gonna hit the roll dice. Here we go. Beep. Player 1 with a degree of 6 with pain dominant.
Okay, so that was very good success.
That was pretty good success. I'm honestly always a little confused by the degree thing, only because I always thought it was comparative. Like, I thought the degree was supposed to be the degree of your success as opposed to mine, as opposed to a flat, like, your degree is how much successes you actually achieved. If it is flat, I mean, yeah, you So what does this look like? I mean, when you turn into a dinosaur a little bit, what does it look like? Or not even a little bit. You did 6 madness, dude.
Well, the way I imagine it is, as I get more panicked, my features literally become more reptilian. At first the claws come out, and I'm sitting there scrabbling and trying to pull the chain out, and that's not working. And then I back up, and the legs start elongating, and maybe the tail rips out from the underneath the suit. And when that doesn't work, we reach down, the head elongating, and the sharp, wicked teeth come out, and we cut through the chain with bloody marks and cuts in my mouth where the chain literally fought me at the last instant. So I've got a bloody dinosaur-type mouth, but I'm still halfway between dinosaur and businessman, and I am in full tilt fear because fire, run, and I probably run right past Julia out the front.
Well, and so you chomp through the chain, and the links of the chain actually start to ooze a weird dark liquid themselves, like the chain is bleeding. And I mean, as you're this large half, I mean, you're not full size, you're not 45 feet, but you're still like a dinosaur, right? And so, I mean, it's cramped in here, and as you're trying to run out, like you're hitting your head on lamps, and you're scraping across the ceiling. And you just run out through the door, smashing it open. Sure.
I did not open the door. I ran through the door.
just as the fire is reaching all the liquor inside. So, I mean, as the fire reaches that liquor, like there's this screaming explosion, and the burn catches you in your tail and like scorches your skin, and you get flung forward. And yeah, I mean, you are in quite a bit of pain.
Yeah. I imagine the sound is like a calliope of pain.
Yes, exactly. That sounds about right. And I mean, Julia, he turned into a dinosaur and he busted out the front. So like, what were you doing while that was happening? If you just wanted to follow him out, but you had your fight box checked. So come on, what are you doing?
Oh yeah. Probably we're probably helping the fire along. We're smashing liquor bottles and.
Nice. That's perfect. That's perfect. All right, that's great, because then that means that like we don't have to roll for that. As I said, it explodes, right? And you were smashing liquor bottles, and you were making sure it hits the main liquor supply. Yeah, you get flung out of the bar, and you skid across the street right outside, but you are messed the hell up. Like, you have burns on your face and blood streaming down different parts of your body, and like you skid across the dirt and lose a whole bunch of skin, and I mean, you are coughing and you are barely able to really see around you. You have dizziness and like kind of a concussion. You are messed up, which is perfect. So there you are, outside of the bar, which is now burning heavily. All the people inside are screaming. All the memories inside that are burning are screaming. The bar itself is screaming. There's a dinosaur, and there is horribly messed up Julia on the street. So, Dinosaur Aaron, it may not surprise you to start hearing sirens coming in your direction again. Julia is messed up, right? So what are you doing?
I guess we'll gently pick her up in our toothy jaw and run off.
That's perfect.
It's not like she's going anywhere.
So this is you trying to get away from the police, make sure you're safe?
Sure, I've got big long legs. They'll never notice the dinosaur.
Yeah, they'll never notice the stomping dinosaur. So in this case, I'm actually gonna push this because they are coming fast now, and so I think it is some pain to get away from these guys. So you are, as a dinosaur, you have 3 discipline, you have 1 exhaustion. If you're still being a dinosaur, you probably still need to use 5 or 6 madness.
Tone it down to 5. We're trying to regain some sanity here.
Tone it down a bit. and I'm going to go ahead and say the cops, these cops coming after you, are going to be 5 pain. So, I'm hitting roll. Player 1 with degree of 6 with pain dominant. Wow, is pain dominating. Alright. So, I could go ahead and make something else dominate, though, because there are no 6s anywhere. No, I'll hold on to it for the time being. Alright. So, yeah, with your degree of 6 with pain dominant, that means you succeed. And, I mean, with pain dominant, this is what I'm envisioning then. This is like a crazy frantic, you're running down alleyways, you're just trying to get away as quickly as possible, you're not really watching where you're going. And so you're also trying to carry Julia in your mouth, not that tenderly, so periodically she's getting squished between your dinosaur teeth and letting out little shrieks of pain as you are scraping across walls, right? Like you're trying to do turns really quickly and running into the wall and scraping along it. But I mean, after a whole bunch of running, not really paying attention to where you're going, you wind up in a place where you're no longer hearing the sirens coming. And, like, you're looking out through the alley, through the end of the alley, upon what looks weirdly like a bustling street market with, like, old-timey gas lamps lighting it up, which is a little bizarre. You hear tons of people moving, a lot of bustling. You can't really make it out that far because you haven't quite just run out in full bore as a dinosaur. Yeah. But at the moment, you're bleeding from all your scraped skin, like you're rather battered, and Julia is not looking too good either, especially after the dinosaur teeth closed on her a little bit periodically. It's hard to keep your jaw from closing as you're running frantically.
I try. I imagine every now and then I like maybe headbutt a catwalk or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Fire escape.
Perfect.
Sorry. I will crouch low.
Yeah.
And carefully set her down and sit there and try to calm down while she sits there and crawls away from me.
And I mean, you're turning back into a person, right?
Right. Going to try.
And well, I mean, I think it's fair to say that it just happens. Or like, is it you actually transforming physically back into a person, or as the descriptive text for the ability says, does the dinosaur vomit you out?
The dinosaur is done with me, I think.
Yeah.
So it vomits me out, but I would prefer to think of it more as the dinosaur turns inside out and I'm on the inside.
Sure. Okay.
So it's just as disturbing as vomiting, but it's
disturbing. That's perfect. Yeah, the dinosaur turns inside out and you are on the inside.
Yes.
Still in your Italian suit.
Of course.
Yeah. So what are the two of you doing?
Putting out any fires.
Screaming at each other.
Are you a dinosaur?
Kind of look at my hands. It's like, sometimes he catches me, sometimes I run away. You look bad. We need to get you some help.
Yeah, I don't feel so good either.
You look a little low on ants.
That's a new development.
The ants are in your development. I like how frazzled the two of you are. So it's just like, yes, I am too exhausted to freak out about the fact that I have ants living in my veins.
Yeah. It's one of those days.
Yeah. Well, on the bright side, if you're going to go insane, it's good to have company.
It's true. So we're clear on the not letting people handcuff you to bars now, right?
It seemed like a good idea at the time. I mean, I paid for my drink. sit there and kind of smack my lips. Actually, kind of thirsty.
Oh no. Let's not go down that path again.
No. Maybe pointing down the alleyway to the market. Maybe we can get some help there. So, offer my hand.
Pull myself up.
There.
Stumbling and like one leg not working.
Yeah. Charred.
Just a little bit. It builds character.
It builds character. That's healthy.
Yeah, it's just, you can walk it off, right? Remember, I can sell anything. I can convince anyone. Yeah. We can walk this off.
Fine, you're fine.
Oh my gosh.
And so the two of you go
That's
tromping into the marketplace.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, as you get closer, like I said, you notice those gas lamps. It's clear there's something weird about this marketplace, and getting closer does not help. Like, weird scents hit your nostrils as you approach, and you hear weird noises, too, periodically, like animal sounds, what is that happening in a city market? And you come out between, like, two stands. One guy is selling these, like, little cans, all of which are labeled with a human finger, like a severed human finger is the label. And on the other side of you is a guy who's selling these crystals. And looking at the crystals, for just a split second, you think you see something moving inside them, but when you actually look, you can't see anything. So immediately, this is like setting off warning signs, especially after what you went through.
So, it's a freak show, isn't it? That explains it, right? We've hit a carnival.
I think it's a little worse than that. Do you still not remember anything?
I remember my lovely wife. No,
that's more
else's lovely wife.
That's more John.
It'll come back to me. Of course, so will the dinosaur. Anyway, we need to get you fixed up. You're not walking on all cylinders.
I think you've mixed your metaphors.
Yes.
So, I mean, as you're standing there between the two stands, the one guy with the crystals, he starts actually beckoning to you, and he's like, "Hey, would you like to come here? I have things to sell."
Not right now. We're looking for a surgeon.
Much better than surgeon. I have soul. Would you like soul?
No. It says, no, thank you. It says,
No. Soul is good. Where one is good, two is better. Two soul for you.
There's already too many inside of me to speak with. I am fortunately blessed with more than one, I think.
So, I mean, if you move away from him or look around at all, like what you are seeing is more and more of these weird stands selling weird things, and people are moving among, and there are the noises of the market. But you're also seeing a fair number of stalls that look closed or inactive at the moment, up and down this long street market. And as you actually look up and down the street, you see this enormous clock, like a straight clock on a post raised up, and it's got the clock on all four sides. It's a big one, and it's old, and it's antique. And it takes only a split second to realize there are 13 numbers on it.
Of course.
And of course there are. And it's getting down to 13 o'clock, according to these numbers now. You've got about 15 minutes, it looks like.
Well, looks like the witching hour is almost over. Anyone know a reliable witch?
Yo, says one lady. She's got a purple mohawk. She's wearing old, like, 80s style headphones, cassette player. Over here, need a witch. I got your witch.
And I point at Julia. Says, "We've had an unfortunate set of circumstances and need something to fix her up."
Well, healing is not normally what I do. I mostly do curses and charms, but I've got a little bit of healing in me. Why don't you step on over? I'll see what I can do.
That inspires confidence.
Says, "Given our prior experience, I need to ask up front, what's the cost?" Gleam in my eye as I go into salesman mode.
Right, as you go into salesman mode. Well, what do you got?
Says, we're new here, so we're not terribly wealthy in what you, well,
let me look you over. Let me just see what we got here.
you take promises?
She comes out from behind her stall and she's actually approaching you to like touch you and turn you around and start looking at you.
Well, it's a nice suit except for the hole in the back.
Yeah, so, and are you both letting her just take you in?
Yeah, I think I'm too
Sure.
charged to do anything else.
So she flips you around, looks you up and down. Did you two know you seem to be missing some stuff?
Yeah. Matter of fact, that's looking over at Julie. Why we're here? Question mark.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. What's the story there?
See, since the headhunter happened after I gave my resume, I probably would remember a little bit about that.
Totally.
So it's just like, we both seem to have headhunter problems.
She instantly stops moving as soon as you say that, and she goes pale.
That bad, huh?
You're on your own. I'd appreciate it if you could move on to a different stall. She like starts scurrying back, but without turning her back on you.
Thank you for your information. Because at least she gave us something.
Yeah, please don't stay here.
Great.
Okay, well, says at first you don't succeed, next time you lie.
So are you, you're looking for healing, right? So you want to move up and down and look for even just first aid at this point.
Yes.
Time for the witch doctor.
Oh no.
So like I said, there are a fair number of stalls that are not being used, but as you start getting closer and closer to that 13 o'clock, more and more of them are getting filled up, you're noticing. So
it's winding up as opposed to winding down.
Yes, it is winding up, yes. And everybody's selling weird shit. Like some person is selling like different body parts from myriad children's pets. Like some people are selling meteorite rocks with little aliens living in them still. It's weird shit being sold all over the place here. Nothing screams out to you healing until you come across this woman who is selling in front of her photos of people smiling, like handsome, attractive people smiling. And she has a sign over her stall that says, "Better living through photos." And as you're approaching, she says, You two are looking rather worse for the wear, dearies. Could I interest you in perhaps a better life?"
You're right, Brendan. That screams out healing.
We've had better days, but actually, my friend, question mark, here, we've looking for some first aid, maybe a free clinic or something like that. Says, can you?
You don't need anything like that. Nothing so mundane. Nothing so slow. Just come over here and maybe I can sell you a nice. She looks among her pictures and she picks one out. A nice 30-year-old body with no wear and tear on it.
Ooh.
That sounds expensive.
No, it wouldn't be. It wouldn't be that expensive. Let's see. I would probably take. What do you have? I would take maybe your first 5 years if you have them. Maybe if you have a bit of love, perhaps. Do you have any love to give?
No, not so much on the love.
Not so much on the memories either. Says, we're kind of hit upon hard times.
Well, there must be something you have.
Do you trade in favors? We could always pay it forward later.
That's tempting. What can you do that would be of use to me?
I was going to say sell things, but the last time that got me in trouble.
What about you, girlie? What can you do?
Assemble things.
No, I'm getting a little bit more from you. You've stolen a lot of happiness from other people, haven't you? Let me see your hands.
Okay.
Yes, I like this. I like this one. Maybe if you let me take some of that stolen happiness off of you, then we can come to a bargain.
Sure.
So here's the thing. I'm perfectly fair if Aaron wants to step in and negotiate on behalf of Julia as well. You guys can make that decision yourselves. I do think this is going to be some kind of actual conflict to make sure you don't give away anything you don't want to give up. Obviously, so to put this in terms of what they want, she wants as much as she can possibly get out of you, and in particular, she might want more than you're willing to give. Right. So she wants some part of you. She wants the part of you that causes pain in others and steals their happiness.
We're going to have to negotiate that. It says maybe the first taste of happiness, that first time that she pulled off a con, and that left her flush with success and the desire to do it again. So surely that's the sweetest of those memories.
Interesting. You drive a hard bargain. Well, yes, but that was still when she wasn't used to it. It still was when she wasn't quite at her prime, as it were. I can tell this one has skill in stealing it. I want something more than just the first rush. I want your most successful attempt to take someone's happiness.
Look over at her. Says, "Is that something you want to keep?"
No.
Done and done.
Okay, sure. If you're actually gonna give in like that, she's gonna be like, no, wait, maybe I want something more.
Once bargained, now fulfilled.
All right, I want to make this an actual.
Sure.
I want to make this a roll to just make sure that you have her nailed at this bargain. But I mean, if you're doing it on Julia's behalf, Aaron, I think that's just fine.
Sure.
Okay. So, at the very least, this is definitely a minor use of your exhaustion talent, Aaron. Do you want to make it a major use? How much exhaustion do you have right now?
1.
Okay, so if you made it a major use, then you would have 2 exhaustion. It would have to go up, but you would add 2 successes. I think for her, I'm currently going to be rolling 5 pain.
Yeah.
She's a hard bargainer.
As she starts becoming a hard bargainer, my skills start sharpening. That going for the kill kind of thing goes in.
Yeah.
Charisma starts turning on, so we'll definitely throw down exhaustion and increase that. And so she might try for a hard bargain, but we're hard up. So.
Okay. Right. Okay. So that's the distinction they make. Okay. All right. So you want to use a major use of your talent, which means you have 2. You now have 2 exhaustion, and you're adding 2 successes. I assume you don't want to use any madness because you're not using your dinosaur.
No. We'll keep our dinosaur in our pocket.
And I've got 5 pain. Now, I mean, the rules provide for helping. You can help by rolling your discipline dice, and you would add any successes, but they would not affect what dominates the roll, and you would be bound by whatever dominates. So let's just say, like, if you helped and exhaustion dominated, then you would suffer that effect as well, Julia. So if you want to help, that's fine, and you can roll 3 discipline dice, add them in, but they will not actually affect what dominates. Do you want to help?
Sure.
So what are you doing? I mean, it's obviously your bits that are being haggled over.
Right. So I think she kind of catches what Aaron's trying to do and starts trying to upsell that moment.
It's like,
what are you saying?
If you're interested in the moment I stole the most happiness from someone, then you're not going to find anything better than this.
That's so dark and double entendre-y. I can't tell if you're wistful about this or if you're just a jerk. All right. If you're like, no, it's great when I got that girl to kill herself, or if you're like, yeah, I'm actually sad that I got a girl to kill herself. That's good. All right. So you're gonna have 6 discipline dice, but I'm trying to figure out how to do this in this die roller. We'll only roll the 3 and the 2, and then we'll add the 3 after because they should not determine dominance at all.
Right,
so
right.
I'm gonna roll this. So it looks like discipline got a 6, 6, 3, exhaustion got a 4 and a 1, and pain got a 6, 6, 3, 2, 2. So right now pain is winning, and pain is dominating with a 6, 6. And then you get your 3 extra. So pain is going to dominate right now. And then you get to roll 3 discipline, which is a 5, 4, 1. So that adds 1 to your degree, which I think means you win, because now your degree is 3 and my degree was 3. Yeah, so that means that you do succeed, but it still means that pain is dominant. So I have another despair. Okay. And to be fair, actually, this might be a decent time for you to spend that 1 hope if you want to uncheck your response box, but you don't want to do that. So she agrees to your bargain eventually. You drive a hard bargain, but she will focus just on that moment. She's going to take that moment. And she pulls out a camera, and it's like an old Polaroid camera. and she just says, "All right, dearie, just stand there and smile."
Think happy thoughts.
Think of that moment and smile.
Oh, God.
And she takes the picture. And as she does, it's actually what she's taking from it, I think, is actually that side of it, right? Like, you may have felt bad that you made Heidi kill herself. And you may have felt good in your own twisted, sadistic way. What she's taking from you is any of those good feelings you had. So now all that is left is the pain of having made this poor girl kill herself.
Oh, great.
And so, like, she takes the picture, and as soon as she does, the Polaroid, like, comes out of the camera, and she takes it and starts waving it around. And you are just, that smile on your face immediately turns into this horrified expression as you feel that pain anew, like, for the first time, and you feel this horror as you realize what you did, and how terrible it is. And that's all you can feel. So then she takes the photo and she's like, "Ooh, this is thank you. This is a good one. Very nice. I very much appreciate that. Well, dearies, here you go." And she hands you two photos. She hands you two, like, photos in their frames. And then she cracks them open at you and, like, snaps them, and the photo tears. And as she does, something from within the photo comes over you. And your bodies feel rejuvenated and fresh, and like your wounds are closing up. I mean, in some ways, you feel probably younger and better than you did before. It's almost like you have new bodies, which is nice. That's great.
Let's look at the hands and make sure that not new bodies.
They're not new bodies. I don't think it's like brand new somebody else's body, but it's like your body is totally rejuvenated and is brand new, and perhaps even improved a little, like a little less sag, a little less blemishes, a little less like marks or the bags under your eyes.
I look at one of the torn pictures. Is it kind of a Dorian Gray thing?
What, that it starts to look worse?
That, like, it's full of cuts and burns and scratches?
Well, the pictures, the pictures that she broke at you and that are torn are totally full of cuts and bruises and scratches now, yeah.
Awesome.
Wow, I'm starting to get a bad feel for this place. Not because it's a crazy place, because I'm starting to understand it.
Well, it was a pleasure doing business with you.
So thank you very much. We're here because we're looking for something, and maybe you can point us in the right direction. Do you know anyone that's into recruiting, looking for jobs?
I'm gonna skirt around this.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it says we're looking for a professional.
So, as you're saying this, the clock behind you reaches 13, and it starts bonging out the 13 beats, the 13 like noises. Each one of them is a different kind of noise, like from a different clock, or sometimes not even from a clock. And she says, "Are you perhaps referring to, say, a headhunter?"
That might be a good start.
"Oh, I do business with that gentleman all the time. He usually sets up his own stall right down there. Should be here any time now that it's the 13th hour."
Thank you very much. It's been great doing business with you.
My pleasure as well. Toodle.
Yes. She's just too gleeful for her job.
Yeah, so as it's bonging, more and more stalls are actually opening up, and you're starting to notice more and more people filtering into this market. And many of them look strange to these people.
Yeah,
many of them
so when we say people, we mean in quotation marks.
Yes, some of them look fairly normal. Some of them look, however, bizarre. And like so one person looks kind of like you can only see them in profile. No matter what angle you look at them, they always look like they're in profile. Another person is walking up and they actually literally have no face. Some weird people here.
I was going to say about the person that you can never look them eye to eye, and then you mentioned the guy with no face. Like, it's a theme.
The stall she pointed you at opens up, and it looks like a very prim and proper stall with like a business. You know how like businesses will sometimes print their own like stands and their own signs, and it's got like business signs for like a business convention.
I can imagine a fishbowl with business cards in it.
It's all about like, are you looking for new recruits? Are you looking for new help? Well, the agency of Reinhardt, and Foom is here to provide you with the nightmares you need.
Well, I guess we should show up and ask for a refund or something? What do you think?
Yeah, what exactly is the plan here?
I haven't been really strong on plans.
Yeah, but you could probably talk them into giving you a refund. You are good with the talking.
We can give that a shot. Yeah, because I think we did not get more than we bargained for. I don't think we bargained well at all. So I'm sure there's some agency around here about fair trade.
I don't think that applies.
Well, let's see what the man has to say.
So you go up to the stall?
Yeah. Yeah, all smiles.
Yeah, and it's totally the same guy sitting behind the stall with his hands crossed over the table.
Says, fancy meeting you here.
Indeed. What a pleasure it is to meet the two of you again.
Says,
Julia, Aaron.
That's my name.
No, it's not. But you don't have to know about that.
I cannot fault you on that one, because I just imagine my name tag is a little bit more tattered than it used to be.
Yes.
Oh.
So, what can I do for you?
I think perhaps we did not bargain well, and I think it's time we renegotiate.
No, I don't think that time has come yet.
Oh, and what time would that be?
Well, you're not fully developed talent yet.
You are a talent agency. Do you have any on-the-job training?
You've been experiencing it, as I'm sure you know by this point.
It has been a crazy day, I will admit that.
I'm sure it will get crazier. Once it gets crazy enough, that's when we can talk again.
So you are open to negotiation?
Oh, yes. Once you are fully ready to work with my agency, then I would be happy to negotiate the terms of our contract.
Well, as you well know, and I don't, I am an ambitious, go-getting kind of guy. And I want to be on the fast track on that program. What can we do to get you to sit down at the table and renegotiate?
Oh, very nice, very interesting. It's rare that one of your kind is willing to be so accommodating to my goals. Well,
you have something I want? I'm hoping to have something you want.
Then it's a good idea for you to attempt to lose your sanity as quickly as possible.
I like my sanity. It's the only thing I have left, you know.
Well, then there's very little you can do to become what I'm looking for. I see in the two of you enormous potential, which is why I approached you in the first place. And that's why I had to take away from you some of the things that were keeping you tied down, that were keeping you less than you could possibly be. until you have reached your full potential as a nightmare of the city, I don't really have much more to say to you. Come back to me once you're fully ready to work with my organization.
Wow, you are one ambitious son of a bitch. I like that.
Why, thank you. I very much appreciate that.
Oh, I so wish I had a gun. I'd just so murder him.
You can turn into a dinosaur!
Yeah, but it's not quite the same thing. Yes, a gun is nice and impersonal. Yeah, eating someone's face, you really have to get in their face for that. So,
I do so hope that the two of you turn out to be as much as I expect you to. Particularly you, Julia. That move you pulled with Heidi means you'll have great promise as a nightmare.
Oh, sad. Thank you, I think.
Well, the two of you should probably be going. I've actually signaled Officer Talk here in anticipation of your arrival. I think he should give you a good chase, and that should hopefully push you closer to what I need. But I'd probably get running. If he catches you, you're no good to me.
wow, you really are a grade A bastard. Can you at least suggest a way we can run?
No. That's really providing too much help to you. I really need you to be as stressed out as possible in order to achieve the state I'm looking for.
Don't think you'll have a problem with that.
This is about the time we probably hear the police whistle.
Yes, yeah, and you hear a police whistle, and you look over, and there are like 5 police officers. They all have giant keys sticking out of their back. They're all like faintly artificial, like statues or metallic or porcelain, and they all have these like weird rictus expressions on their faces, and their voices like burble up beneath the sound of ticking coming from within their bodies. Freeze!
Not today. Time to go.
And we're off. Yep.
So, see, exit stage left.
So what are you doing?
Well,
You're just going to bolt away from them?
Yeah, are they all coming from the same direction?
These 5 that you see are coming from the same direction, totally. But this is a big market, and they could theoretically come from other directions, too.
now that it's the 13th hour and it's as crowded as it is, we might just go to try to lose them in the crowd. Zigzag through this, move in between stalls.
Sure.
I happen to be feeling really good right now, like I have a new body.
So you just want to try and hide from them, basically, amidst the people.
Oh yeah, not throw, but put the crowd in between us and them, and more or less try to make it out of the market and back into the alleys, because that seemed to be where we were making our best speed.
Sure. So, I mean, in this case, since it's the two of you, you can be working together again. It sort of makes sense if you were sticking together. I mean, Julia, you're the one who has stealth.
Yep. I will take point.
I guess I'm the helper then.
Yeah.
So there are only 5 officers right now, and these officers are each worth 1 pain. So that's going to be 5 pain. Julia, you have 3 discipline. You have 2 exhaustion, right?
Yep.
Do you want to do a major use of your exhaustion talent?
It's a one shot. Why not?
All right. So then that boosts you up to 3 exhaustion, and it's going to add 3 successes to whatever you roll. Do you want to use any madness? You're rolling against 5 pain, and especially with Aaron's help, that means that you are going to have 9 total dice.
Yeah, I can't really think of a good way to bring the madness in this anyway.
Okay. All right.
Kind of what I was thinking about.
So I'm going to go ahead and hit roll. You have 3 discipline, 3 exhaustion, 5 pain. You're adding 3 to your degree, and you're going to get 3 more dice from Aaron. Here we go. Okay, so right now We have a 654 in discipline, a 662 in exhaustion, a 666 to 1 in pain,
Holy
and then so you are looking at a degree of 5 right now. I don't think the 3 extra discipline added by Aaron can actually really change the roll because you guys are already going to win. But you are helping, right, Aaron? Which means you are bound by the same results?
Sure.
Yeah, that's great because that means I'm going to go ahead and spend a pain. So I'm gonna remove 2 coins because I shouldn't have gotten the 1. So I should now have 2 coins in despair, and I'm gonna remove 1 coin from hope. You have 2 coins in hope. So I'm gonna add a 6 to. Oh no, I have to add 2 6s. Crap. I was gonna add a 6 to exhaustion, but then that would mean you have a 6662 in exhaustion, and I have a 6662-1. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and spend another despair. Damn it! I was hoping not to have to do that much. All right.
We've won. I don't understand what we've won, but I feel like we've won.
All right, so I had to spend 2 despair, but that means that exhaustion dominates. And so you actually have to, both of you, tick your exhaustion up 1. So that means Aaron should have 3, and Julia should have 4. So this is you finding a place to hide, right, and ducking down into an alley?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
So exhaustion dominates. Here's what I'm thinking. You find your way into an alley, but when you try to move further away from the market, you actually find there's a big wall in the way. And you can quickly zip yourselves into a dumpster and pull the dumpster shut, and just tensely wait as you hear these clockwork policemen go running past and down another way. But that's all you can do. The actual alleyway that should have led back into the streets you were running down isn't there anymore.
Why am I not surprised?
So the 2 of you tensely are waiting under the dumpster. I mean, after having run away, and you're just your bodies are tense and it's exhausting.
Tick tock.
Yeah. So after a bit of time, the police officers have run past. You can still hear their whistles blowing in the market beyond, but they're not immediately on your tail.
Well, doubling back the way we came is a good way to lose the officers. And, it appears that the headhunter wants to push us over the edge. And I don't think that's a good place for us to be.
Probably not, no.
Says we need to find someone that can set us straight. But my goodness, it seems like everyone's out for their own, and no one has any compassion for a couple of strangers. Kind of sounds like my place to be, but says, well, I'm open to suggestions. What do you think?
Well, if he's here every day at market, if we can find where he's storing our things, maybe we can steal them back.
Oh, good call. So how about this for a plan? Let's sneak back to the headhunter's shop, wait for him to close up business, and then try to follow him and see where he goes.
Sure.
Sounds like a plan.
Brendan looks so happy. I think we've chosen something horribly wrong.
This won't go wrong at all. So you are trying not to be noticed as you sneak back to his stall, and you're trying to wait.
Well, yeah, and maybe 4 or 5 stalls away, something where we can be close enough to keep an eye on him without being seen.
But including by any clockwork police officers who are in the area.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So this is going to be tough because between, first of all, any of the other stalls, right? They would hawk at you, and that would draw attention to you. Even if only for a moment, it would take a single glance in the wrong direction to notice you. So I'm actually going to set this pretty high for pain to keep away from all of the clockwork officers, all of the other things selling and to do it for a length of time, long enough to wait until the headhunter is going back home. I'm actually going to set this at pain 10.
Holy cats! Okay, well, on the bright side, we do have a lot of exhaustion.
You do indeed. So, I mean, if you're doing stealth, who's taking point?
That would be me. Although I really feel like you could use your dinosaur to distract them.
You could totally use the dinosaur.
Yeah. At least a couple dice of madness to just make things a little bit tense, keep people going, I don't know if this is a good time for business. Is that thunder?
Well, so that's the thing, though. If you want to use your dinosaur, then you're taking point. Then you're the one making the main role, and she's helping with discipline, and her exhaustion talent won't help. She's taking point that she can use her exhaustion talent, but then she's the only one who can bring in the madness dice.
Says you have the skill, and I've got the madness.
Yeah, I don't think sticking my amps on people will help us stay unnoticed.
True, but
well, it could create lots of.
Actually, do you always have to attack with them? Maybe you can use them as scouts. Just send them out everywhere and keep an eye on it, so we don't have to be even within eye shot if you have an army of little spies everywhere.
But I just got this body.
All we need is a little stream. So I can pop you in the nose if a nosebleed will do it.
That's very thoughtful of you, but I think I'm okay. I could probably have them focus on his stall.
Well, if you look at your 3-4 dice, getting out of game for a sec, it says spread out and let you feel, smell, taste everything in the whole house. So you can totally be one with the ants and kind of be their hive queen psychic network thing.
Right, so. But that's still only the size of a house, which is why I said I could probably focus on his stall.
Yeah.
Or you could go to maximum dice. Wait, is that 5-6 dice or is that 4-5 or 3-4 dice?
5-6 dice, the slasher self-open suicide style.
Yeah, do that.
This is the point where I should warn our viewers never to listen to anything Brendan says.
Spread out and lick the whole neighborhood. There you go. That's fine. That'll keep you an eye on the whole market.
That's not too obvious, though, because he pretty much knows what we're capable of.
No, it'll be fine. You should do it.
Do not listen to Brendan.
I'm just going to load up this dice roller with your 3 discipline and your 4 exhaustion and your 6 madness, and that should be fine. Like, that'll give you 13 dice. You'll be good against the 10. It'll be fine.
This body. I wonder if doing something like that would help us find his secret fold-up office.
So this is the thing, right? Like, part of the point of Don't Rest Your Head is it is somewhat important to be clear on intent, on what you want to get, right? Because if what you want to get out of a roll is, I want this guy to die, then what could also happen in the roll is lots of other people die, but yes, you will succeed, and that person will die. Like, so it's important to know what you're actually hoping to get in order to be able to say what some of the consequences are, the side effects. So in this case, what you're really hoping to do is essentially find out where the headhunter makes his keeps his stuff, where the headhunter's office is, and that in turn to get there without really getting caught. Like, that's what you're hoping for. So with the key being, if you use 6 dice and I could still see you getting your goal of finding out where he is or where he keeps his stuff, and then having it end with you are suddenly caught, though, just as your ants track him back to where he is. And so that is fine. I think actually using your Madness 6 to find out where he is would be perfect, and would perfectly relate to that goal, where the specific goal is to find out where he is, perhaps more importantly than not being caught. Does that sort of make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
All which I'm saying is that it comes down to what you most want. If what you most want is to find out where he's going to go back to, then that's 6 madness dice with those ants versus 10 pain. Might be a good way to do it. Just saying.
Just got my body fixed. Just got my body fixed.
Just saying.
Fine.
Yes.
God.
All right. So the remaining questions. I mean, I think it's fair to say that your exhaustion talent can help because you're trying to remain hidden during this whole process. Mm-hmm. But unless you use a major use of it, you're only going to get that minor use, which means you will have a minimum 4 degree. But in order to get the major use of the additional successes, you would have to increase your exhaustion by 1. Do you want to do a major use or no?
I can go up to 7, technically, before I fall asleep. Well, up to 6, and then I use
7.
another one and I fall asleep.
Exactly. 7 is fall asleep. 6 is you're still awake, but you're in huge danger.
Oh, let's do it.
Yay! Okay.
Can't possibly go wrong.
And so here's the final thing, and this is not to cause problems, but at this point with what you're doing, like you're relying on your stealth to remain hidden, and you're relying on your ants to actually watch everything. So I'm not actually sure how Erin can help. Like, what is Erin doing to help if the primary action here is about her spilling ants out of her body so that she can watch the entire area?
I've got an extra pair of eyes that I can lend, and I'm a little bit taller than the ants.
Sure. Okay. All right. That's fair.
I'm just look out if it needs be. Cover me in ants, and we'll sit there and we'll look over this and look under that.
Okay. Cool. So and
just
also
to bite.
To point this out, then that means you're going to be bound by the results of the roll.
Yeah.
All right. So you'll get to roll your 3 discipline after. All right, so I'm going to hit the roll. This is 10 pain, 3 discipline, 5 exhaustion, 6 madness, and you should add 5 to your results. So the player won with a degree of 8 plus your 5, which is 13. Pain was dominant. And yeah, pain was hugely dominant. Jeez. So I can't even do anything. Gah! Damn it. All right. So yeah, there's no way I can actually shift dominance because I had a 6, 6, 6, 5, 5, 5. I'd have to add a whole bunch of pain to shift it to anything else. That's annoying. And then you can add your 3 discipline, but at this point you're already succeeding because I only got 4 successes. Damn it. All right. That's upsetting. All right.
What? The plan worked?
The plan worked perfectly. Well, like, I was at least hoping, so the way, just to call this out as something I find cool about the game, the way I was hoping this to work was not that you would fail. Like, right? The objective I actually have in this game is honestly not ever to necessarily beat you, because that's the entire point. Power at a cost. You guys succeed all the damn time, but terrible things happen as a result of your success. You approach exhaustion. You flip out. Like, that's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm looking for, actually. So I was actually more hoping that exhaustion would dominate than I was looking for, like, you to fail in that case. So it's just upsetting that exhaustion doesn't.
Well, you need to describe it. I can just totally imagine that after a while, people just stomp on her army.
Well, yeah, that's. I mean, your ants are spread out through this. First of all, right, you have to slash open with this bar knife that you've been carrying around. You have to slash open your wrists, big time, for these ants to come pouring out in this horrifying moment. And so that alone is painful. And then the ants are spread out through the entire marketplace, everywhere. They're getting stomped on constantly. So it's like each one is just a tiny little, like, not even a big deal, but with so many of them getting stomped all the time, it's like your headache is slowly growing worse and worse and worse, and more of them have to spill out of your arms to replenish their numbers, and more of them get stomped. The two of you, you're hiding, like, off behind some stalls, right? You're, like, trying to hunker down next to some walls and just hope nobody notices you. Cover yourselves in filth or trash bags.
Or ants.
And Aaron and ants. Aaron is keeping his eyes out to look for anything, but the ants are you can't actually see through the eyes of the ants, but you can definitely hear and taste and crawl and feel and so I mean you're keeping attention on the headhunter. And when eventually the headhunter actually, so it's a weird thing that you do pick up on. Another set of boots, another suit, exactly the same as the first headhunter, comes up to the booth, and the other headhunter leaves. And so you can track the one that leaves as the one that came up to the booth takes over for him. And the one that leaves, your ants start just tracking him heading out of this marketplace as he moves his way down a few different alleyways that you didn't know were still open. And basically, you have him tracked. You know exactly where he's going to this old like brownstone building, a little ways away from the market, and it doesn't look terribly noteworthy as you've approached it, or from what you can tell from your ant senses. Your power specifically says looking through the eyes of your ants is really tough. But you have there's nothing weird about this building that you can tell from your ants. But you have tracked him.
Yay!
You now have your arms throbbing horribly and your head throbbing horribly. But yeah, no, you know where to go to confront the big scary bad guy. That's fine.
Yeah. Let's hear it for Ant Dar.
Ant Dar.
So, I mean, you call your ants back to you, and soon, this massive colony of ants is crawling its way back up into your arms. And afterwards, the slashes seal themselves into two horrible pink scars. And your arms are still hurting like a bitch, and your head is still hurting like crazy. But you know where to go. So what are you doing?
That way.
Fair enough. So, I get the impression this would be an incredibly bad place to shoplift.
Yes.
So, as
Were
much
you
as
thinking of that?
I was just thinking, man, it'd be nice to have like a club or something. You remember, right? I still don't think dinosaur yet.
Yeah, you turn into you are a dinosaur.
Oh, I'm a dinosaur, and I think I'm going to be burnt to a crisp.
I can make that happen.
Yes. That's what I thought Julie would say. It's okay. We can let you on fire. I don't have a problem with that.
Okay.
So, I mean, the two of you can wend your way through the market to arrive in front of his brownstone, but there are still officers moving throughout this area, actually. They have not... First of all, they're clockwork officers, so they don't stop, period. But, I mean, they have not stopped hunting for someone in the area. So, getting to the brownstone, I mean, I think it's fine. I think you've been so stealthy you can pick your way over there without a problem, but I'm just warning you that, you won't have a lot of time once you're in front of the brownstone. You won't be able to just stand there and come up with a plan or something, right? You pretty much have to go in to get off the street.
Well, let's see if he locks his front door. I think moving quickly and boldly is going to serve us better than hanging around here.
Go in, dinosaurs blazing.
Go in, dinosaurs blazing.
It might require that, depending on if this door is locked or not.
Yeah, so I think if you try the door handle, it opens.
Yeah, could be his business, too. Come on, it's time to be sneaky. Dun 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 dun.
So you're going inside. Are you sneaking? Are you trying to just remain hidden at this point, or how exactly are you entering this place?
You're in the lead. You open the door.
Well, so you're the sneaky one. I would hope you would notice something or maybe a bell that jingles when we open the door, and maybe you can catch that.
Yeah, I think that's actually a fair point. When you open the door, there actually is a bell on it that would ring that somebody's entering the place.
And you're sneaky and clever. You're the type that could actually either grab that bell and keep it from ringing, or maybe choke it full of ants.
So the ants get squished. Do you know how many ants have been killed today? It hasn't been a good day for ants.
You're running out of time.
Can we see if there's a back door?
You can, I mean, if you want to try to find another alleyway that'll take you down around behind this building, you can. There's no alleyway immediately on the side of the brownstone because it's flush against the buildings on either side.
Mm-hmm.
Just silence the bell. The best way you can.
Okay, so the bell basically gets knocked by the door when the door opens.
Yeah, it's like a door. It's like a bell that's designed to tell people inside that oh, there's a customer here. It's like one of those.
Right. So theoretically, if we open up the door, somebody could just a pinch. We could reach up with our fingers and move the bell aside.
Yes.
Okay. Let's plan on doing that.
Okay. So you're gonna open up the door just a bit and try to like pinch the bell and keep it from ringing as you open it, and you're trying to come in completely unnoticed. Okay. So let's do this. There's a receptionist. So let's do this as a pain roll between you and the receptionist to see if you can come in completely unnoticed. The receptionist is not a huge deal. She's not terribly powerful. I'm only going to give her I think like 4 pain. And so right now you have 3 discipline. You're trying to pinch it, Julia?
Yep.
Okay. So you are rolling 5 exhaustion.
I'm so tired.
Do you want to? Do you want to use any madness at all?
No.
Okay. All right. Here we go. I think this makes sense. This is just Julia, right? Like Julia's the one opening the door, pinching the bell, right? Okay.
She knows this trick.
You can use a minor use of stealth. I think that's fine. Which means you have a minimum of 5. Yes, that's what I wanted. It says player 1 with a degree of 4 with exhaustion dominant.
Oh no.
Yes. So that means exhaustion ratchets up to a 6. So you have 6 exhaustion. Now, just to make clear that I can detail this, like you have your hope, and you can spend hope to decrease your exhaustion. That is the point of what hope is for. However, the thing is, to spend hope, you need like a moment of peace. A player may spend a coin from the hope coffer to reduce his current exhaustion by 1 or to remove a check mark from one of his fight or flight responses. He may do this whenever he is not actively embroiled in a conflict. So basically you need a moment to get a second win. Right now, in the middle of trying to sneak into the headhunter's place, probably not. All right, so you are completely unnoticed. But the sheer act of like trying to move so slowly and straining every exhausted muscle, like your head is aching, this process of trying to be careful and quiet and just go slowly and carefully, it's just so tiring just to move inside piece by piece and be completely perfect and like, you have to hold the bell perfectly and your hand is stuck in the air as you're opening the door slowly and then closing the door slowly. It's just...
Then remember, oh yeah, Aaron.
Yes, and then remembering Aaron. Aaron, yeah, and so the 2 of you are inside now, but you are just left exhausted, Julia, by this, and you are standing in like an entryway, an entrance hallway. There's a door off to the side, which you can see sort of from here leads into what looks like it might even be a waiting room. And you can hear a pen scritching in that area. There's steps that go upstairs. You can hear someone moving around upstairs. The entire room here looks very like pleasant, like business built inside of a residence kind of place. That's the style. Like green walls. There's some carpets on the floor. It's nice. There's a painting of a sailboat on the wall. There's a head mounted on a plaque.
Our founder.
So what are you doing?
So you mentioned a receptionist. Is this something that we can actually eyeball from the door? I would imagine so.
So like I said, there's a door slightly up the hall, and it leads into a room that looks like it's the waiting room. That's where you can hear the pen scritching from. You can try and sort of sneak a peek. You've been quiet enough that she's not going to notice you, so she's not aware of you. So like you sneak a peek at her, and what you see is a woman like sitting at a desk, and she's wearing this iron collar. on her neck. She's otherwise wearing a very nice, prim and proper business suit. She's got glasses, and she's scribbling with a pen inside of some sort of ledger notebook. On the wall behind her is mounted like 30 different plaques, each of them the head of a former receptionist, all of them smiling happily down upon the waiting room. And there's actually a plaque like at the end that is clearly just waiting for the head of the current receptionist.
Awesome.
So what are you doing? There are some nice chairs in this room for where people would sit. Right now, the place is empty.
I'll put my finger to my lips at Julia and basically quickly and boldly move up behind receptionist if I can and put my hand around her mouth and whisper into your ears, "I will gladly rip your head off if you do not help us."
Okay.
And it's my sweetest, sincerest salesman voice. Says, she knows I will utterly and gleefully do that.
Okay, so I'm perfectly fine with you sneaking up behind her because you totally snuck in great, and that's I think that's fair. So you can get behind her, you get your hand on her mouth, and you whisper this in her ear. Her eyes are wide, but she's remaining perfectly still. I'm waiting to hear what you want her to do.
Okay, well, if she's a smart cookie, she hasn't screamed or anything like that.
She is not yet.
It says, me and my friend here need to recover some property. We need to recover. Look over at Julia. What do we need to recover from you?
Innocence.
We need to recover a little bit of innocence and my resume. Do you think you can help us with that?
Are you removing your hand from her?
Just a little bit.
Okay. All right. So in this case, I think that now this might be about like whether or not you can convince her to do something which is clearly violating her job. It's clearly going against her employers. Now that you know explicitly what we want her to do, I think that's good. Mm-hmm. So in other words, if you succeed this, she will probably agree to help you in exchange for her life. If you miss this, her opposition is her fear of her bosses outweighs her fear of you. Yeah. Having her head up on the wall is, for whatever reason, worse than having her head ripped off by you, even if you're a dinosaur.
Well, we haven't gone and pulled the dino card out yet.
All right, so she's, like I said, she's no great shakes. I'm going to keep her pain at 4 for her resistance to you.
I've got discipline 3 and exhaustion 4, and I am trying to sell her on the idea that, seriously, we're dangerous people.
Yeah. So are you using a major use or a minor use? Salesman totally makes sense here. So at the very least, you are getting a minimum of 4 successes. But the major use means you would add 5 successes to whatever you roll. Using a major use guarantees that you will win.
Let's go with the major use because I want to utterly convince her that helping us is the best thing for her.
Great. Yeah, that's perfect. So you use a major use. Your exhaustion is going to be a 5, and I'm just going to go ahead and roll.
Yeah.
All right, so here's what we got. All right, so it says pain 1 with a degree of 4 with discipline dominant. However, because you used a major use of exhaustion, it means that you are getting 5 additional successes. So you have a total of 8 successes versus my 4 successes. So pain did not win. You won, and it looks right now like discipline is still going to be dominant, which I cannot stand. So I'm going to spend 1 despair to cast a shadow, and that means I'm going to add a 6 to your exhaustion pool. So if I add a 6 to your exhaustion pool, then it looks like 654, which is higher than your discipline pool, which is 653. So that means that exhaustion dominates.
Okay.
Waha, waha.
So we're both at 6s?
You're both at 6s in exhaustion.
We're so tired.
So yeah, why don't you tell me actually, what does this look like? Why did this tire the hell out of you?
Because I'm getting tired of all the lies upon all the lies.
Yes.
It's just, why can't I sleep kind of thing, yeah? But we got to do what we got to do. So it's like, tell us where the resume and the innocence is, and you can sit here and you can go back to whatever you were doing and keep your head on your shoulders. Sounds like a fair deal?
Fine. Just don't let them know that I told you anything, please.
My toothy gaping maw is sealed.
Okay. All right. Usually we keep attained goods in the vault room upstairs until we need to return them. You can find it. It's on the 3rd floor. The combination is. She gives you the combination. It's a series of 3 numbers. Just make sure you go in quickly and please and don't let them know, please.
I look around for like a name tag or a little sign on her desk. It says like, "Thank you, Alice."
You're welcome. Please don't let them know.
Nobody's been here. It's been a nice quiet day. Just move away, says, and let Julia know. So, 3rd floor vault combination, 666, of course.
Of course. Yeah. So so the 2 of you you're sneaking up to the 3rd floor, right? You're remaining quiet and still as much as you can.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Watching out for the creaking stairs and all that.
Yeah, and I think it's cool if you get up to the vaults. Like there aren't a huge number of people here. You heard somebody thumping on the 2nd floor, but yeah, I'm not that interested in like making another let's be totally quiet roll. So yeah, you get to the vault and 666. You get inside it. It was a spinny combination lock. You open the door as quietly as possible. It slowly creaks open. And inside, like this space is way too big, right? There's no way this space could actually physically fit into this building, and it's got shelf after shelf after shelf of item in like a police evidence bag almost, with all the information written on it and like a tag, and all of them are clearly carefully documented. Each shelf has a little plaque on it that says like .001 to .00. Whatever, and then all the way up to like hundreds and hundreds of numbers. You can see enormous numbers of shelves. So what are you doing?
Oh God, I'm gonna start looking.
Actually, I'm gonna start looking for a. I got it in my head, but I'm trying to imagine. It's like the old library Dewey Decimal System shelves, where they had all the shelves with the numbers, and you pulled them out, and there was like hundreds of cards.
Yeah.
And I can just imagine pulling out these shelves and flipping through the numbers, and it's going, oh, it's in alphabetical order, no problem. Stop. What's my last name?
Shirt. That's perfect. I love that. Yeah. So you can totally find that system, that filing system, but you don't know your own last name, so it's going to be hard to find the card that correlates to your own thing. Julia, you just wanted to start moving among the shelves looking for anything?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, there's a lot here. You're finding all kinds of weird, crazy shit spread around everywhere. Like, you're finding like a snow globe that looks like it has somebody inside it pounding at the glass. Like all kinds of things, and it's hard to pick out what yours would be because what did he physically take from you? Did he physically take anything from you, or did you just sign a contract?
Just signed a contract.
Yep. So you're looking for like a piece of paper, but it's going to be tough to find anything in any degree of speed. And I think actually at this point, if that's what you want to do, then it's a matter of finding something before somebody notices that the vault is open.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Well, worst case scenario, we can seal ourselves in the vault and just have a good old time with other people's souls. But
that'll be good. That'll be great.
Nothing to go wrong with that.
So go ahead. I mean, in this case, what I'm actually looking up at the moment is I want to just make sure. Okay. All right. So, I mean, if this is about, I feel like we should probably make two different roles if you were each trying to find your own stuff separately. So, since Julia is the one who went straight to the shelves and she's looking for her own stuff, let's do you first.
Okay.
Because if something terrible happens, then Aaron looking for his own stuff might be more about running really quickly than it is about carefully looking at everything.
Oh, hey,
So,
did you look in the Ark of the Covenant again?
Yeah. So Julia, you have 6 exhaustion, and I actually I should call out. I think I'm okay with it. Like, you have a moment of peace, right? You're in this vault. You can catch your breath here. There's nothing immediately on your tail. I'm actually okay if you want to spend some hope just to maintain the tension because you're both at 6 exhaustion.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to spend a hope to try and get rid of exhaustion, I mean, it makes sense, right? You are so close. Whatever you're looking for is in this room. This is the moment that you're spending hope. You're hopeful.
Oh, yeah.
Yay.
So you have 4 hope for the two of you. It's a communal pool. So what do you want to? How much are you spending? Either of you.
I think I'm good with just spending the 1.
Okay. What about you, Aaron?
Same thing here. Just a little hope.
All right. So you're both at 5 exhaustion now.
Yeah.
All right. So, now this is about them finding you. This is about them getting on your tail. So, I mean, I'm thinking in this case that I'm not going to go all out on pain yet, but I'm going to say it's going to be a 6. Because they are in the area, and you did open the vault, and I feel like that would trigger whatever weird senses the headhunters have in this place. Are you using any madness? You could totally open up your veins and use your ants everywhere to hunt for your stuff. Smell for the scent of you.
That tastes like innocence.
That tastes exactly like innocence. I'm just trying to figure out which level I want. Because why the heck not?
You want 6. You should use 6.
No, I should not do 6.
Remember the time that you should use 6? Right now.
To be fair, nothing terrible happened that time.
Yeah, exactly. See? So go ahead. Use 6. Nothing terrible will happen.
Wow, that's pretty fantastic.
Use 6.
Yeah, sure. Why the hell not? We've only got, what, like half an hour left?
Yeah. All right, great. So this is you carving open your wrists again, letting out a sea of ants that swarm all over everything, looking for your stuff. Wow. Okay. I mean, actually, I'm going to be perfectly honest in this case. Like, it's up to you. You tell me what Julia would be after. If you were interested, I think it's fair. You're spewing ants everywhere. You could find Aaron's stuff too, probably just by following the scent, right? You can follow Aaron's scent with your anti-senses,
right?
And find both. So, but then again, Julia might not care.
Well, she cares. I mean,
Okay.
They're in this together. I mean,
Okay.
He's helping her. So
Great.
And yeah,
So, I mean,
we used to have some giggles back when we were tormenting people.
As a point of fairness, I think if you're looking for both yours and his, I am going to bump it up to 8 pain. Just to make it a little harder because you're looking for both before somebody gets upon you.
Correct.
Is that cool?
Yep, that's fine.
All right. I'm going to hit roll dice. All right. So player 1 with a degree of 8 with pain dominant. You are frickin' kidding me. You're freaking kidding me. I can't make anything go.
It has been a
All right.
painful session.
It's been an incredibly painful session. Okay. So I get another coin of despair, and you succeed, it looks like. 1, 2, yeah, because there's nothing. I had 3 successes. Pfft, yeah, right. Great, yeah. So this is your ants spreading all over the entire place, sifting over everything and like looking for yours and Aaron's stuff. And here's the issue. You can follow the scent. Especially as you get closer, your ants are everywhere, but your ants are sending back bizarre signals over every weird piece that they crawl across. So you're getting like weird confusion in your brain as you're detecting like hundreds of other people's pain filtering into you through the ants touching their things. Like even crawling across these plastic bags that everything is put inside communicates that pain back to you. Not to mention the pain of having slashed open your wrists again. And eventually, you do pick out, like on two different shelves spread across the place. You find one of them, which is a plastic bag in which is contained a piece of paper, the contract that Aaron signed, along with the pen he signed it with, and you find yourself your own piece of paper inside a plastic bag with the pen you signed it with inside the bag as well. So, I mean, you know exactly where these two things are located on the different shelves. I do think that you are starting to hear from outside the safe steps coming up the stairs in your direction, but you still have time to find something and potentially find a hiding place. Like, they're not right on top of you. They didn't stop you from finding the things. Okay?
Yep, perfect.
So what do you do?
Grabbing mine first. Hey.
Aaron, are you just chasing after her?
Did you communicate that you found my stuff?
Did you actually come into the vault, or are you still at the card catalog?
If I heard the footsteps,
yeah,
I probably would come in to warn her and not close the door to the vault because I don't want to be trapped inside, but maybe just ease it shut a little bit. So a casual glance, someone's not going to go, "Oh, hey,
why is our vault open?" Yeah. Okay.
Wide open, anyway.
You come right inside upon her already moving among the shelves, right? She's already moving down. Her wrists are still open, and ants are crawling back up the shelves and dropping onto her arms to crawl back inside her body as she's moving down the shelves.
Yeah. It's just a little chitinous wave of fun.
Yeah. Are you going to follow her?
I'm going to follow her and let her know someone's coming.
Great. Okay, great. So you go after your own thing first, Julia, as Aaron comes up behind you and tells you somebody's coming. Is that going to change what you do at all?
Yeah. So she'd kind of nod, and then you're over there. You're over there against the south wall.
Thanks. Back in a sec. And we'll skip, jump, and try to avoid stepping on ants.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Or as many ants.
Yeah. So Aaron, you arrive at the back. It takes you a little bit of searching on the shelves to find the thing that is your handwriting, but eventually you do. And Julia, you know straight where to go to find your thing. I mean, as soon as you pick it up, it gives you this weird sense of weight and pain, Julia. Even holding it in this plastic bag in front of you. And Aaron, like when you find yours, I mean, it's heavy carrying this plastic bag that essentially has your entire past inside of it. Mm-hmm. It weighs a lot to you. So what are the two of you doing now that you have your innocence and your resume in hand?
I'll probably rip open the package. Nice pen. Stick that in the pocket, and just start rapidly scanning the resume as like memories start flooding back.
Yeah. And you take the pen and you read the resume, and immediately your past comes flooding back into your brain like it's hitting you in the skull with a sledgehammer over and over and over. And you remember every horrible thing you did and every horrible lie you told and every horrible identity you stole, and you know that your name is not Aaron.
Yeah. Matter of fact, probably the resume is full of lies.
Yes. Yes. Actually, that's perfect too. The resume is full of lies. Yeah. And so there's a weird effect too of you remembering things that are clearly untrue, and you know they're untrue, but you remember them anyway because you remember what you wrote down on the resume. You remember graduating from Harvard, and you know that you never graduated from Harvard.
Yeah. That's important. So, it's just like, wow, I'm good.
And what about you, Julia? What are you doing?
Actually, I think she's folding it up and putting it in her pocket because there's somebody coming and we need to get the hell out.
Yeah. Yeah. So the vault door comes creaking open. What are the two of you doing?
I got this one.
Okay.
You know, most people never expect when you open a vault door for a dinosaur to run out.
It's surprising how often that happens.
So, we are just, it's not quite flight, it's not quite fight, it's kind of freight train bowl over, slam into the door, throw whoever's on the other side of the door free, and just woo, 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 run down the stairs, slide down the stairs, pictures on the wall go flying, the banister probably cracks, turn around the corner where that throw rug is, kind of skidding and sliding, and beat feet out of the building. At least that's the plan.
So, I mean, you're gonna come charging out as a Tyrannosaurus Rex to try and
Yes.
get past him.
And to totally distract from Julia being in the vault.
The issue is, I think that like he's gonna be standing in your way directly to try and stop you. So I think that it's fair to say that if you can just get past him, you can bowl your way out of the building.
Mhm.
But this is a headhunter. This is like the headhunter you've been dealing with.
Sure.
So he's a big scary nightmare. We're talking powerful guy, and
I'm complete. I'm whole. I know who I am.
and that means that it should be fine, right? Right.
Absolutely. I'm a powerhouse. He has nothing to hold against me.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him 10 dice.
That's okay. I've got 5 exhaustion, and we're going 6 madness,
Six
of course.
madness?
Yeah,
Of course.
so it's like Hulk out, literally. Is it? Roar!
With your memories
Shelves
back,
go- Yeah.
you turn into an even more frightening dinosaur than ever before. Yeah.
And shelves just collapse and fall in on themselves.
That's
and
perfect.
Just hit that door and just fling it like a piece of cardboard. And oh dear, was he on the other side of it?
Here we go. All right. So, what I got was player 1 with a degree of 9 with pain dominant. However, the highest roll in every single score was a 5. So I can spend a despair to add a 6 to something and make that dominate, which is what I will do.
Of course.
So do I want to make exhaustion or madness dominate? That's the question, isn't it? That's the question.
Choose wisely. That's madness.
Yeah, I'm thinking madness. So yeah, I'm gonna make madness dominate. Yeah, because exhaustion would push you up to 6, but you just run away. So I mean, yeah, go ahead and check off one of your response boxes. Fight or flight.
Well, this was a little bit more flighty. I mean,
Sure.
fighty, because we're doing the bull rush kind of thing.
Sure. Well, but what does that mean in terms of like how you act now?
What that means is, I thought I was going to be slick and graceful, and just zip down the stairs and fly through out the building. But I am a Tyrannosaurus Rex, and this building is just too small for me. So as I bust out of the vault and send the headhunter flying and head down the stairs, I don't make the turn. I simply hit the wall, glass and brick scatter and fly through the air, and I go through the wall, sailing out into the street.
Okay. Yeah.
Oops. I'll let you decide what's on the street.
No, that's good. Oh yeah, okay. So you go flying out onto the street, and you're still a dinosaur.
In midair. Yes.
In midair, and as you're slamming down into the street below, there are cop cars all arrayed around the headhunter's office, and the tin police officers are all arrayed with their guns pointing at you. All of them shouting in one single tinny voice, "Freeze!"
Wrong choice. So it's like, it's perfectly fine to be bloodthirsty against tin soldiers.
Sure.
So, yeah, I'll probably start stomping on police cars and just generally being a dinosaur.
And so your objective is to just get out of here or kill them all?
Oh, I don't really want to kill them all. I want to put the fear of Rex in them, get them running and scattering as I head off in the other direction.
Okay.
Causing as much distraction and mayhem and collateral damage as possible.
I think that's good. Yeah. So there are 10 of them, and they have one. There are at least 10 of them, and they have 1 pain per. So I'm going to do 10 pain again.
Sure.
So how much you're using? Still 6 madness?
Sure. It will be easy to follow me due to the wake of destruction in my path.
Of course it will be. And this is a perfect fight response. Here we go. All right, so player 1 with a degree of 10 with pain dominant.
10? They should make a movie about me.
Oh, I realized something. Okay. So I am going to if I add a 6 to something, I can make it dominate again. Yes, I will. Which actually means I should do that, and then you should wind up with 3 hope.
How much despair do you have left?
I think I have 0 now.
Oh.
Actually.
Well, that's good for Julia.
I add 1 6, and I'm going to add it to... Let's see here. You only have 1 madness response box checked off.
Actually, I thought I had 2.
Oh, you have 2 checked off. Okay.
I thought we did flight from the burning bar and fight right now, so all I have is fight left.
So you have fight left. Okay. Yeah, that's great. So yeah, I'll make madness dominate. So you have to fight.
Right. For the love of the dinosaur, I forget who I am, and I just rampage through the city, drawing a string of police after me as I go roaring off into the sunset.
Well, and it's perfect. You're flipping cars left and right, but more cars keep pulling on and following you, until eventually the leader of the police, Officer Tuck himself, is coming barreling down in his own police car, chasing after you. So I mean, you're leading them away from the headhunter's office, which is great, but they're all right on top of you. So let's cut away from that for a moment, and let's cut back to Julia. So Julia, the dinosaur, basically collapsed the entire room of shelves. I think you could throw yourself to the side quickly as they were collapsing, and you still have yours. He barreled through the safe door and out the building, but the headhunter he knocked to the side is now picking himself up out of the ruins, and he's stepping back into the vault.
Okay, go big or go home, right?
Sure. How are you going to go big?
So apparently, if I spend 3 to 4 dice, I can gnaw a man to death in moments.
But if you spend more, you can
5
do
to
more.
6. I can do the whole building.
Yeah.
Well, I'd be breaking my promise.
I didn't make a promise.
Wholly devour a room full of helpless, screaming people to death. Yeah, that sounds good. Is that what you're going to do?
Yes. Also, I'm not sure if he counts as a man because he's a scary nightmare.
He is a scary nightmare. All right, so you get 3 discipline, you get your 5 exhaustion, and you're spending 6 madness.
Yes.
And this is you. I mean, your wrists were already practically slashed at this point, so this is just you spraying forth more gouts of ants on top of him, so they will eat him to death.
It's like a flamethrower of ants. It's just
Coming out of your arteries. All right. I'm going to hit the roll. Here we go. What?
Whoa.
Pain 1 with a degree of 5. When has that happened? With madness dominant. Oh, boy. That's great. Okay. So you have to check off one of your response boxes.
Mm-hmm.
Fight or flight. And yeah, I mean, do you want to describe what happens because your madness was dominant, or do you just want to describe how you react with your fight or flight?
I will totally go with react.
Okay. So, I mean, you're spraying these giant gouts of ants on him that are immediately biting him with poison, and soon it's like he's covered in a mountain of ants just swarming and crawling all over him, right? And then there's this horrible, you feel this terrible sensation inside of you, like it's just nightmarish, and it's like something is eating you, and then you suddenly hear crunching noises coming from the pile of ants, and in a moment you start seeing mouths like amidst the giant pile of ants, just swallowing and crunching giant mouthfuls of them. More and more and more, until suddenly you see that there he is, like, it's the same guy, but his clothes are shredded. The ants were biting through the clothes and ripping them apart. And underneath his pristine suit, he's just, like, covered in faces. It's like his body is made up of faces and heads, and all of them are eating ants. The heads he wore at his waist are eating the ants. Every part of him is eating them, and they're all grinning madly as they're chomping on mouthful after mouthful of ants, until eventually, like, the head on top spits out a mouthful of ants, and grins madly at you and says, "You can do better than that, can't you?"
Oh my god.
just a little nightmarish.
Oh my god. Yeah. He totally just called me out. So, we'll hit fight.
Nice. So what do you do? How many response boxes is that checked for you, out of curiosity?
2 of 3.
Okay, that's all 3 checked?
2 of 3.
Oh, 2 of 3. Sorry, I missed.
I would like to say it was all 3 because that sounds like something terrible, but.
So the way that works is if you ever, let me actually check if I have it right, because there's exhaustion is you have to go over 6. If you must check off a response but you can't, you snap. And when you snap, you go mad for a time, clear out your responses, lose 1 discipline, and gain a permanent madness.
Nice.
That sounds like fun.
Yes. All right, so what do you do?
So it's going to be one of those eat this moments as she picks up like the snow globe with the tiny little screaming person in it.
Yeah.
And like shoves it into his open mouth. One open mouth.
I've heard of Chekhov's gun, but Chekhov's snow globe.
And you're just forcing it in as deep as you can?
Yeah.
Are you still using madness on this then?
Yeah.
So
as his mouth is open, the ants, because he was eating them before.
Yes.
But if his mouth is forced open and they're able to crawl in and start stinging him inside, that seems like it would be ideal.
So wait, you're forcing his mouth open with the snow globe and then like holding your wrists over his mouth to pour them in straight into his insides?
Yeah.
This is messed up. All right, that's good. Okay. 3 discipline, 5 exhaustion, 6 madness versus 10 pain. So what you want right now is flat out to end him, right?
Mm-hmm.
To eat him from the inside. But to make it different from last time, because that's basically what you were trying to do last time too. He's actually, like, in this case, as you're getting close enough to him that he can touch you. So he's going to try to take your innocence away from you. That's what the difference is this time, is you're trying to kill him before he can take your innocence. Here we go. Rolling it off. So player 1 with a degree of 8 with pain dominant. Okay. And I don't have any pain to spend, so I can't adjust that. Yeah, that's fine. So you succeed. I mean, you pour the ants down his throat, and they chew him apart from the inside. He gurgles and makes horrible noises and starts coughing up this disgusting gray-blue blood and out of each and every mouth. And he's like soon slumped over in just a pile of ants and gray-blue blood, and they continue to devour his flesh. Like his hand, slick with his own blood, tries to desperately grab your innocence away from you, but it can't. As he dies before you. I mean, I'm gonna be perfectly honest. Actually, no, wait. Actually, that's good though too. Oh, this is good. So I'm trying to think of a good way to do the pain, right? Like pain dominated, so pain needs to hit you. I feel like this is perfect. In this moment, when you devoured a nightmare from the inside out by pouring ants down his throats, so your innocence is gone no matter what. You're holding the thing in your hand, right? And like, it's just a thing in your hand. You can't take back your innocence after this. You just ate a man from the inside out. You ate a nightmare from the inside out with ants.
Excellent.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, the only other thing I'd want to know, and we can probably close it here too, with the dinosaur charging off down the streets of the Mad City, trying to keep like the clockwork officers off of him, and with you standing there over the corpse of the headhunter that you've just eaten to death with ants from the inside out. And both of you basically, even though Aaron's got his memories back, he's also now completely different and completely lost his memories to this feral dinosaur he's become. And meanwhile, Julia has completely lost her innocence. The monster she's become. I feel like that's a victory. That's a victory.
That's win-win-win.
Is that a cool ending?
That's an awesome ending.
Right. Yes, it is.
Great. That was good. That was fun. I like that.
Thank you very much for a wonderful game.
Yeah, thank you for playing. That was great fun. I wish I could have, maybe killed one of you or something, but
I think we did plenty of damage to ourselves.
I actually think that was awesome. Yeah, I think it's something I continue to bat around with, and I'm going to bring it up to you just out of curiosity at the end of this. Is I bat around like making it easier for you to lose discipline, making it easier for that to trigger. Because it's rare in a one-shot that you're ever going to actually lose any discipline, because you need to check off all 3 response boxes and then a 4th. Yeah.
Well, you have to do
another half hour. I would have worked that out. I'm sorry.
Right, and you have to do that 3 times then, right? Because you only lose 1 discipline per.
Right, and I mean, if you do that all 3 times, if you lose all 3 discipline, that's when you become a nightmare. Which is in some ways to me like the key critical point. You're way more likely to just fall asleep than you are to become a nightmare. But yeah, it's something I want to think about, because I sort of wish that came up more often. Still, I think that was really fun. That's more something to do with like I'm thinking about how to make it work in a one shot. So I had a lot of fun though. It was good.
Well, hey.
Thank you both for playing. Thank you anybody who watched or is watching this after the fact. This has been Don't Rest Your Head for Indie Plus Games in the Bar. If anybody watching is still sticking around, or if the two of you are interested at all, we have another Indie Plus Games in the Bar event later today. That'll be at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, we'll have Dogs in the Vineyard with Kyle Leaks, and we'll have Spooky Dungeon World with Aaron Field. In about an hour, we're going to have our exhibition game for the month, which is going to be, I'm going to say it right, No Country for Old Kobolds. I always want to say no kobolds for old men. That is not right. No Country for Old Kobolds. We'll be playing with Steve Wallace. And at 9 o'clock, we will be having a panel from Rich Rogers about making your game scary. Ooh, indeed.
I think we have plenty of nightmare fuel today.
That's why I wanted to play this game for Halloween. This is a perfect Halloween game. So thanks everybody for watching, and we're going to go off air. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Push the button. Hold on. Stop.